Well, I just realized I did not have the right intro up because I had a whole thing with you on it, and damn it,
That was so fucking intense, though.
dude, right? No, the one I made, like, it was a whole thing, and I actually tried to do a whole edit, but for some reason I couldn't download a Drown song that I wanted, so I was gonna try to do like a whole like record scratch and all that good shit, but it just it wasn't working for me. So how you doing?
I'm good, dude. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
You look
This
good.
is, dude, you look great, man. That damn
Thanks.
mustache, the works. How's your mouth doing, man? That thing,
Dude, it sucks. Yeah.
dude.
It's I just got told I got another year in braces, and
No shit.
it no shit. And it wasn't because like my teeth weren't straight. My teeth were totally straight, but I don't know if you remember, but I got vertigo.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's this whole thing where my upper jawbone moved into my ear canal and crushed my inner ear. And so we're pulling my teeth out of my ear canal, which is kind of crazy to fucking think
yeah,
about. So one more year with braces. I got a tooth pulled last week. I'm having a great time.
dude. It was funny. I that one of your guys's like your promo pictures that where you have that giant smile, and it's all brace face, all brace face.
Yeah,
I
I
thought it
gotta
was
own it.
hilarious. Oh yeah, I mean, it's like you could do the tough guy shit, but then that giant smile is just that's Rev right there for sure.
Well, it's funny too is that like with the braces, it's such an odd thing because of the pandemic. I've worn a mask the whole time, so
Yep.
nobody's really known. And then as of late, more promo with like the new things the Drowns are doing. People are like, "Oh
Mhm.
shit, the guy's got braces." So I got to slide under the radar for a little while, which is kind of nice.
Like, does it affect like your singing and stuff? Because like, how much does it rip open your mouth when you're just going ape shit?
So it doesn't affect not more than I can notice, I guess. It doesn't affect my vocal quality. But
Uh,
yeah, every night, man, every night it rips me open, especially if it's a small venue with like the crowd close or something. If the
mhm.
mic is bumped, like mic bumps suck in general.
Yes.
Um, I just had an X-ray recently, and there are chips all over my front teeth from 20 years of singing in rock and roll and punk bands. Like,
Yeah. No
um,
shit.
but with the braces, it's just like instantly slices your whole mouth open, which is horrible.
Oh my! I couldn't believe. I could
Yeah.
not imagine having to do that shit.
It's not a party by any means.
Oh, absolutely not. All right. So I have this whole entire paper here filled out
Holy shit, you did
of
work.
just. Oh, I did work. I had a couple weeks. All right. So you've done all the basic interviews before. You tell your life story. You're born on Fort Lewis. You moved to Alaska. You moved to the East Coast. All that good shit. Skip
Mhm.
all that. Tell me your life story in 2 minutes or less.
Oh
But
man,
you have to skip. You have to skip the childhood stuff.
I had a hard time in my 20s trying to figure out who I was. I never once was able to get a grasp on who I was because my identity was tied up in being creative.
Yep.
And any artist will tell you that's really hard to get a grasp on how to regulate your emotions when you end up going on the road all the time and people tell you you're awesome for 6 months out of the year because they see you play once in their city, and
Yeah.
you have to kind of learn how to regulate who you are. So I'm a traveler and an artist who is still at almost 40 years old trying to figure out who I am, and I'm enjoying every day of it. How's that for a
No,
quick?
it's absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. So, you've done all the crazy shit throughout your life. But I have this major question that I don't ever not got. I've known you for what, 15 years, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
still want to know, where did you get the name Rev? Like, is that was just a random like tour story, or like,
Uh, yeah. It was completely random. We were Success was had an interview. This is 2006 or seven. We had an interview on KGRG, in
huh?
Green River Community College, and
Oh, yep.
the DJ had come to a show the weekend before, and he saw me talking to this kid outside of the show about his parents, and his parents were like in the throes of drug addiction, and he was
Mhm.
like dealing with the problem, and I was just talking to this kid about how to like just about what he's going through, and like I wasn't really giving advice as much as I was listening. And well, that next Thursday we interviewed, and that DJ was like, "You're like the reverend of local punk rock. I saw you like preaching to this kid and trying to help him with his shit," and it just stuck from there. The guys just called me Rev in 2007, and it just kind of never ended. It became a marketing thing too, because it's hard to forget that, obviously.
Right.
So it's different from I know 100 Aarons. So
yeah, no shit. But it's like I never know. Do I call you Aaron? Do I call you Rev? I mean, it's one of those things. Like, fuck, dude.
You get carte blanche because we've known each other for so long, so you can pick whatever you want. Yeah.
Because we weren't like friends until like, you know, I was playing in a punk band, you were playing a punk band, and we did some weird ass shows together sometimes. Like,
absolutely.
There was a hardcore show that we kind of saved each other. There was a Studio 7 show at one point, and it was just like, oh, anyways. But I know I met you when, like, way before that, when you were playing in Pistol for a Paycheck.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. Like, it took me later to like realize who the fuck you were because of Pistol for a Paycheck, and it blew my mind. What happened with them? Because like that whole like the music you guys released was good.
Thank you.
But it was just one of those things. Like, it was just you guys were done, or
so I was in a ska band in high school called Rocket in My Pocket. I was in that ska band, and like all good ska bands, right? As high school was ending, we were breaking up. So so I got asked to join Pistol for a Paycheck. At the time, they were called Runt. Before that, and I loved their band, and they asked me to join, and so I joined up, and we had a lot of great years together. Recorded a bunch of albums, and musically, it wasn't always something I was passionate about. You know, it wasn't my genre or my style by any means, but I still to this day love the other guys who were in that band, and we're all still friends. I started Ruff Chucker with Dave, who was also in. At that point, he was in Pistol for a Paycheck, and we were just going separate ways. And they had just started Destruction Island, which was the band the other two guys made when they left Pistol for a Paycheck. And Destruction Island, actually, their first album, half of it is the last unreleased Pistol for a Paycheck record with the songs. But just with two other guys playing on it. I don't remember the drummer's name, but a guitar player named David Bilberry, who's amazing. But yeah, so we just split ways. We still remain friends. Like, I talk to those guys, you know, every now and then, and they're both still doing music. Kai still does a ton of music. He's a singer-songwriter. Yeah.
Dude, that's dope. Because what was the album called? Persona Non Grata, I believe.
Persona Non Grata, yeah.
I will always remember this. One of the songs is a total ripoff of the Power Ranger theme song. Let me just and as soon as I heard it, I'm like, son of a bitch.
That's awesome.
And I wish I could find that music online, and I've told you this before, and it's just like, I want to relive my childhood sometimes. And oh shit, there he is. Freaking Stump finally got to show up, bro.
I'm so sorry.
No
technical difficulties. It was the site, not anything we did. I don't know what was going on. But continue what you guys were talking about.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So, you know, you were talking about, you know, success, and you guys were called Ruff Chucker at one point.
Yep.
Okay. First off, where did that name come from, and why? What is the real story of why it got changed? Because I believe I heard on an interview you guys were doing on KGRG, you told a story that people kept on putting the wrong name on flyers.
Yeah.
But success came from somebody walking out after taking a big shit or something. I don't know.
You know, maybe I shouldn't have said yes to this because you have too much insider information.
Listen, I mean, okay, so it's like, and I've already said in a non-creepy way, in a non-creepy way, I've kind of idolized you, and
it's in a creepy way. Don't let him fool.
I know. I think I know too much about your fucking life than I should. It's kind of creepy.
I give you full reign now that when I pass to give my eulogy, because you'll probably do it better than anyone else. So I'm letting you know right now.
Oh, dude, if you pass, I'm going to be heartbroken for months.
I appreciate that.
Right.
Rev Chucker was just a 3-piece. That was at first it was me and Dave and Austin, and we didn't have a name, and we were watching a nature documentary, and it was talking like Nat Geo style, and it was talking about this bird called the Chucker, Chukkar. Like, a lot of people up here will know it because of Chucker cherries, and they have the little bird on the front, their logo.
Okay.
And that bird is a practice bird, what you practice on for pheasant hunting. So it's like that bird is bred to be the practice bird for hunting another bird. And we were like, I think somebody just said over a beer was like, you have to be pretty fucking rough to be that bird, you know? And that's literally where the name came from. And we did get billed wrong almost like shit tons of the times. Like I would say at least 70% of the time. Because back then too, we were still booking shows over the phone a lot. And so we got misnamed a ton. And the one that broke the straw that broke the camel's back was Slut Choker. That's not made up.
That's one of the ones I remembered hearing.
Someone billed us as that, and someone at the show was like, "I thought you guys were like a grindcore band," and we were like,
sounds like it.
Yeah,
it definitely sounds like it.
So we were trying to think of a new name, and I put forward that I wanted something simple. I was like, I want simple, a word or two, something people know, but sounds cool. But also the songs had rotated slightly to where that positive tinge that has now become the theme of lots of things I write had just shown up. It had just kind of started really working its way in. And I was like, maybe we should push this. Like, we believe in this. Maybe we should push this mentality. And so we're trying to think of something. And then we used to have this thing. So we used to have this thing where on the last leg of every tour. So when you're coming home, whether it's driving home from Portland, driving home from Sacramento, driving home from Boise, everybody puts $5 in, and then whoever eats the most burritos on the way home wins, and they win the pot. And it's a competition that everywhere you stop, you buy as many burritos as you can eat, and if you can prove that you put away more burritos than anyone else, you get the money. It's just to like be idiots. And it was a really bad idea, to be honest, because we all were just sick when we got home.
I would end up winning that every single time. being half Mexican, burritos are just
I mean, it's delicious, and it was great. But
it depends on where it's at, though. Like there's certain burritos though that just like when I lived in Arizona and we used to tour from Arizona and California, there was this place called what was it, El Pollo Loco, and their burritos, for some reason, whatever they did with what was ever in it, I was allergic to, and my lips would like just blow up. And so I could eat like one, and I'm just like, all of a sudden I just got the biggest lips out of the whole band, and everybody would be like, "Dude, you all right?" I'm like, "No."
Well, so the last time we did that was how we learned that David was lactose intolerant. Like, it's how we learned. And so he didn't use. I'm trying to be family friendly. I know we don't have to.
No, we're a safe. This is a safe spot where we can fuck off, and you don't have to be safe. No, you're good.
Dave couldn't shit for like 4 days, and we were all worried. Like we were going to take him to the hospital because he was in a lot of abdominal pain. And then finally he went into the bathroom for like an hour and a half. And when he came out, he was like covered in sweat, and he was like, "Success." So we were like, all right, well, that's what we'll call them.
Is that really the true fucking story then? Okay.
That's the actual story, yeah. And then we did the small conversation afterwards was it is simple and it is positive. And we thought at that time it would be easier to Google than Ruff Chucker, but in the long run, that didn't pan out so well. So
yeah.
It's hard to Google success though.
Well, dude, I mean,
yeah, that's like because every time I try to look up one of your guys' albums, success stuff, but even before we even played together, I would have to put like Success Band or like Success Punk, like Seattle or like whatever. Yeah. And like,
I get hip hop artists sometimes.
Yeah, there's a hip hop artist called Success.
So that's a story most people might not know. So there's been multiple bands after us that were named Success, and we've never like threatened legal action, excuse me, but I have reached out to them and been like, hey, we're here and it's cool. But the reason why that started was because that rapper back in the MySpace days, this is 2006 or 7.
MySpace.
That rapper was the only one with any sort of music profile under that name. And so when we started a MySpace for the band, he reached out to us and he was like, I remember the email. It just said, yo, ... I see you, ... it's all good. So I was like, I took a screenshot and I was like, this is legal precedent that we were okay. So, and he was super cool about it. So then anytime, because there was also a German band called Success that was like techno, like industrial pop music. And we just did the same thing. We were like, we don't care. It's fine. Like the same thing the rapper did.
One of the best things I ever saw was there was a band actually out of California, a SoCal band called Atreyu. There's at least 15 different bands called Atreyu. And it's funny because like we know like the sub UK and then the sub US, and then there's also what's the other band? There's
Teen Idols and Teen Idols with the different spelling.
Yeah. And that's cool. Or like for people that are a little bit younger than us, that I know about a band called Attack Attack, which when they came here, they had to call themselves just Attack, because there was already a band here called Attack Attack, but in England there was a band called Attack Attack, and that was a huge during the MySpace days. That was
that the Crab band? That was the
Crabcore
band, right?
band, the Crabcore band.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
and then the singer and most of the band went to Mice of Men. Cool. Yeah, so just a post-hardcore screamo kind of scene. We call them scene bands. They're not emo. They're not post. Yeah, they're scene bands.
Cool.
So,
fucking A. But, when I was in Bad Jeans, which
that's such a good name,
great band name.
But it's been a name. It was like an old punk band. Like I've looked it up before, and it's like some random old punk band from back in the day. I'm like, well, fuck. But the main reason why we had that name is because we were all ugly, we were all untalented, and
you had bad genes.
We blamed our parents. So it sounds legit to me.
I have a secret account actually that's supposed to be for a ska band that is someday, whenever I decide to actually do a full-on ska band, I have it where it's called Stumpin' the Humpties.
That's great.
That's great, yeah.
And I want to do that so bad, but I want it to be like that. You know, what was that band that were called, like the Kings or something like that, out of Seattle?
What
was it?
Crooks to Kings or some shit?
It's like Common Kings or something like that. It's something. They're like a big ska band. There's like 12 of them.
Oh, I have no idea.
And I used to play with them when I used to play with the Hollow Points and all those guys. And I can't remember their names now, but that I think was actually the first show I actually met Rev was actually at it was when we played the Kraken when I was in Phasers on Kill. We were playing with, I don't even remember who it was. And Rev had long hair. I remember this, in a jean jacket.
Oh, Rev with long hair is amazing.
He had barely any facial hair, just long hair, and it's parted on one side.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he had glasses. And I'm just like, and of course, like Chris, in the band at the time was literally like, he's like, oh, you got to meet this dude. He's like, Rev's the dude you want. Rev's the cool dude. And
Rev's
of course,
your buddy. Rev's your buddy, man.
Well, so I got a funny story with Rev. So one night, I was up in Seattle, and I was with a friend, and I'm like, hey, like, Rev, what are you doing? What are you up to? And I'm just like, do you know any place to eat? And he's like, hey, it's my breakfast. It's your dinner. Let's go to Sizzle Pie. And I was just like, you know what? I want to hang out with Rev. And, like, honestly, dude, like, Rev's done so much for the people that know him, know that he's such a good dude. And this is coming from somebody who's literally everybody's favorite person in the music scene. Like, Rev's literally, like, anytime I hear anything, it's nothing but positive. Like,
I dare somebody to say anything bad about Rev. I've heard one thing before, and they never said you directly, but it was when I think it was who the fuck was in Seattle? Anyways, it was just like somebody said something about there's no smiling in punk rock. I'm like, because it was a show you were playing. I think it was Sloppy Seconds was also playing.
Yeah.
Have you not seen me play drums?
Every time I play
drums,
if Aaron isn't freaking smiling, something is wrong.
It's so awesome.
And I knew it was directed at you, and I was just like, I'm gonna fucking leave that alone.
But
yeah,
so
dude.
the only time I think I ever was like not like upset, but I was just kind of like, I was like, he really did that is when you started growing out your mustache the first time. And I was just like, I want this dude. I want him to have a glorious mustache. And I was just like, Rev, like, do this, do that. Like, all this. I mean, because you could tell that, you know,
you were very supportive. Absolutely.
I'm probably other than your wife, I was probably one of the only people that was like, please grow that out. So
I think people are okay with it now, but it took them a little while.
I love it. I love when you do the mutton chops too.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I mean,
it fits you.
You know, I have that issue where I have a really round head, and so usually, you know, and we all look at ourselves differently. But for me, it's always like I love the mutton chops, but I feel like they make my head more round, and it's just like it's a timing thing for me. To where like I'm constantly kind of changing what I'm doing, but I have grown accustomed to the mustache. I was telling Joe before we started that I had to I wasn't sure how to trim it the way that I wanted it to look, and I had to look that up. And so as an almost 40-year-old, the other day I was Googling how Tom Selleck trims his mustache, and so I just did exactly what Tom Selleck does.
You could have just hit me up and been like, hey, how do I do this?
Yeah, I know.
So I can give you some more pointers. I mean, I've been doing it for 10 plus years. Actually, it's going on almost 12 now. So, you know, but one thing I will say, though, that me and you have in common that I don't think anybody else will know about is the love for a specific movie that I think only me and you would know about.
Okay.
You know what movie I'm talking about.
Are you talking about The Last Starfighter?
Exactly.
My fucking.
I was gonna say. I have yet to see that movie. I have yet to see that movie. Like, so, I've seen.
It's good, dude. It's just fucking good, and I think you'd like it. It's nostalgic, but in the best way possible. It's just a beautiful story.
Like,
you know who dig it is your kid.
Oh, I guarantee it. My kid also really likes Killer Clowns from Outer Space and that little shit.
I actually used to have one of their masks, actually from the Chiodos Brothers. I actually had a mask from the movie. I had a dude who lived up here, and he had a casting of it. And I actually have, I think it's Chuckles. I think is the real fat one.
That's so rad.
I had it, and then I gave it to a tattoo shop because I had a full suit and everything, and I gave it to the tattoo shop for a tattoo. And I don't know what ended up happening to it. Like
the guys in the Drowns love that movie. Like, they're all big horror nerds. Like, I'm obviously more of a science fiction guy, but I do love a lot of horror movies. And those guys love that fucking movie.
Those are probably my two favorite from being a kid is Killer Clowns, Last Starfighter, and probably like Killer Tomatoes or like Dr. Giggles. Like any of the B like horror films from that time is like, I love that stuff. That's like the shit I go for.
Totally weird tie-in that you guys didn't know would be a segue. This isn't a joke. This is a real thing. David Casey from Success, his uncle did the soundtrack for Attack the Killer Tomatoes. Like, that's like an actual thing. Yeah, no joke. Like, he's in the credits and everything. That's David Casey's uncle.
That's awesome. See,
that's so weird.
We're always what's that saying? We're always like 6 separation or whatever. Yeah, from Kevin Bacon. Yeah.
And my one separation is I know his nephews and nieces and shit. That's my one separation from Kevin. Oh, and like his son. I met his son when his son was in a band in Tacoma for a while back in the day. Cool. I can't remember what it was, like a metal band or some shit. But what's funny about that movie is I'm scared shitless of clowns. But my son found it on Netflix. He goes, Dad, I really want to watch this. I'm like, you son of a bitch. As an adult, it didn't scare me too much. As an adult, I was like, this is great. This is fucking hilarious.
It's because of the fact that it's so cheesy.
It's so bad. It's so good. It's so bad, it's good.
The best insider thing that I could ever say about that movie was the popcorn gun was the most expensive prop out of the whole. That's literally what made that movie more expensive, and they could only use it one time, and that was it.
That's awesome.
Like, and but yeah, like that's kind of like my thing with like getting to know Rev, and like I know you're the same way. Like, I've played with Rev. We got to play actually one time, I think, fully. It was a sold out show actually at Jazz Bones, It was my old band, your old band, my old band Phasers, Success, our buddies in the Fibs, and our friends in Noise.
Yeah.
And one of the best shows I think all 4 bands ever played. I think like that whole night was just awesome.
We had such a great time. That was the show. My wife was there, and I was playing my jazz master that night. And I remember that I was playing, and there was a bunch of ladies like in front of my mic stand, and I was like soloing. And afterwards, I came up, and Tammy was like, "Hey, where's your wedding ring?" And I was like, "Oh, well, because of my guitars, my wedding ring, it scratches the neck, so I can't really wear it."
Yep.
And about 2 weeks later, a silicone ring showed up in the mail. And she was like, "You can wear this, right?" I was like, "Yeah, I got it."
I've been wearing silicone for a while. I've been wearing silicone for years, dude. It started because of that reason, but then my fingers got fat as well. So,
yeah.
Silicone rings. I highly recommend them to everybody.
Super.
Well, you guys can wear them.
Well, yeah. Fuck. Oh, where's my drum? Oh, fuck, my drum set's still broken. I have a desk drum set that I do a badoops, but usually I end it with throwing it against the fucking wall.
It shattered on the...
Oh god, dude, Kevin from Disorderlies and Kids on Fire, his jokes, I lost my fucking mind the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
because
it was 2 weeks in a row. We traded some dad jokes before. Yeah, he's super good at it.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a drummer thing though too. I think all drummers just have they're just full of puns. I don't know what it is, but like it's the same thing even with me. And like me and him will even go back and forth every time I see Kevin. It's the same thing. We just kind of just do that. And it's just but
none of my drummers that were ever funny.
Why should you never challenge the Grim Reaper to a pillow fight?
Why?
Because of the repercussions.
God damn it. I'm glad I swallowed my beer before we fucking got there.
Okay, so here, but I'm not sure if I want to drink it or not.
Well, are you talking about for later and we do the thing? And
because I got this in the mail.
Oh, that'll be later. Don't worry.
Oh and it's a 16 ounce. So
I know it fits. Have you figured out how to use it yet?
The what?
I have you figured out how to use it yet, Stump?
I'm gonna figure it out tonight.
All right. So
that's
yeah. And by the way, bam! I was thinking about it like last week how we did Rev did the shotgun with his NA beer, and then he took off his shirt and started what the fuck song? Sister Christian. Oh god.
Okay, so about that song, all right.
It fucking rules. You better just say that it fucking rules.
It fucking rules.
I mean,
I want to do a cover. I want to do a punk cover of that song. Like I really do. I want to do I want to have like a Gimme's band, but it's only like 80 songs.
You know, I actually joked about that years ago, and I was going to call it the Northern Lights, like light cigarettes.
That's
I joked about doing it. We've also joked about doing a pop punk fantasy metal band. I think someone needs to do one of those.
Go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead. I wanted to start a me first cover band and call it You Last in the Takey Takeys.
That's good.
And just say we're a me first cover band and see how many people understand.
I want to do I've always wanted to do like the real cheesy stuff too from the 80s. So like I want to do like Sister Christian. I want to do I've tried to talk to my
More Than Words.
Yeah.
But
I want my band to do Runaway from Bon Jovi because no one's covered that yet. Don't take my idea, Rev.
I know. I won't do it. I'm rough.
I want my band to do that so bad. And I think no one's done Sister Christian yet. And I think that's such a killer song. And I'm like, it needs to happen. But my bandmates are or even a Kiss song. I want to open our show with, I think the song's called Black Diamond, I think. Just that bass line. And my bass player knows it. I'm it would be just such a killer thing. We start playing Black Diamond and no one's going to get it.
On this last run of shows the Drowns did, we covered Ballroom Blitz by Sweet.
When you guys played it at Jazz Bones, I lost.
Oh yeah,
my
you were at
shit,
that show,
and I sang every word, and everybody around me was like, "You know this song?" I'm like,
I love when that song is covered. I love when anybody covers that song.
I'll say
oh,
this:
it rules, sweet rules.
The Drowns did a fantastic. Like, it's probably one of my favorites.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah,
Like,
that song fucking rules.
Yeah. Oh, it does. But like, see, I'm one of those kids though. I grew up where my parents, and we're probably all around the same age, and
yeah,
like I grew up with my family, my dad listening to a lot of like 60s, 70s music. And then my mom was more into like hair metal. So I grew up with like a mixture of like everything. And so for me, when I hear like even the, like that song or like Saturday Night, from Elton John, or I hear from what's the other one, the Saturday Night, what are they called? It was like the riverboat.
The Bay City Rollers.
Yeah, the Bay City Rollers and stuff like that. Like, yeah, like I love that stuff because like you don't hear that music anymore. That stuff's like the stuff that gets me like before shows. So this will be a question for you, Red. Okay. So before shows, when I'm warming up, I like to listen to stuff that's going to get my blood pumping, right? Being a drummer, I play on a pad and I just kind of get something that gets me going. A lot of times the stuff I listen to, my bandmates are like, what the fuck are you listening to? And it's usually just something cheesy, Bon Jovi, Poison, or like, Motley Crue or whatever. What's like your go-to warm-up song that gets you ready just to hit the stage? Just like,
I would say a lot of times I gravitate towards a lot of the older rock and roll.
Okay.
A big one for me is "Working for the Weekend." That song. I mean, because also I can sing along to it, and like it kind of stretches my voice out a little bit because it's out of my range a bit. And but I usually do an arpeggio warm up, and then I'll like warm up all my guitar playing like older blues songs. Like just as a guitar player, that's a good warm up for me. It stretches me out a little bit.
Okay.
But I do an arpeggio warm up that I learned in a fucking John Petrucci video I had that I rented from the library when I was 13. The guy from Dream Theater. I was like 13 or 14.
He's a killer guitar player.
Yeah, he rips. And it's not necessarily my thing, but I learned this arpeggio warm up that I've kept with me my whole life now. Sorry, Joe. Sorry to interrupt you there.
No, it's fine. I was gonna say my warm ups when I was doing playing bands and shit. My vocal warm ups was like the intro to like Coffin Cats, like one of their albums. They had an intro song and like the vocal. That was my vocal thing, even though I never sang like that. I was always raspy. But I like to use that shit. My guitar warm ups were usually Beat It, and Don't Eat Bar Peanuts.
Oh, that's awesome. You know it's crazy.
Fanboy for a second.
It's all out. Somebody hit me up not too long ago asking about how to play that song. I sent somebody a video like 6 months ago about how to play that song. Because I'll do that. I mean, maybe this is a bad thing for me to say on the internet, but if anyone ever asks me how to play something, I'll just send them a video and show them how to play it. Something that I've written. So, yeah, I think it's cool. So.
Speaking of if you get stuff sent to you, so this weekend, my band was playing down in Portland. Mm-hmm. I was wearing a Drown shirt, and my guitar player was wearing a Success shirt.
Multiple people sent that to me.
And like, I didn't know he was wearing a Success shirt. I told them in the group chat, I'm wearing a Drown shirt. Like, because
so funny.
It's really weird because we've already had it happen twice where there's 3 of us in the band. So one of us is going to match one of the other because we all like the same like music. Yeah. And I'm just like, who cared? But I didn't know he was going, and I literally had so many dudes walk up to me and they're like, the Drowns? I'm like, yes, I know Rev, I know Andy, like, I love those dudes. But it's funny because like
multiple people texted me a photo of you guys.
Yeah, so you probably that was actually, so I got that shirt at the show in Tacoma. That was actually the first time I wore it.
Oh no shit.
So I wore it on stage but I was going to originally wear it because we did the Bridge City thing the next day, because that was actually what I was going to do, because the last time I did Bridge City, I wore the Wolf Success shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was going to do it as a tradition to where I wear the Success shirt, but I was like, I couldn't find it. And I'm like, fuck, I got it. Like, and I was like, all right, well, I'll wear my Drown shirt. And then, of course, then my bass player's like, he was already wearing, I'm actually wearing it's a band called College Radio out of Seattle.
Yeah, yeah. I know Gordon.
Yeah. And such a little sweet dude. Like, he's
so
like,
I worked with Gordon in the mall in like 2003 or 4.
okay.
Like when I was fresh out of high school, Gordon and I worked together years and years ago, and he was a peppy little guy. He was the same size back then. He's just a little dude, and he had like a billion Blink-182 tattoos.
He still does.
Were you guys working at Zoomies? Was it? Did you guys work at Zoomies? You look like a dude that used to. Okay. It was either Zoomers or Pac Sun. I doubt it was Hot Topic.
Oh man.
Yeah, they're good dudes.
And I'm really happy. I'm glad he's been trying to get something together for a while. So I'm glad that
they're
playing shows, and
they're really good. That's one thing. They've played with us a bunch of times, and they want to try and get a show with them up at either the Kraken or something. And I'm all about it, but it's hard because our bass player lives down in Arizona.
Totally.
But like my thing is like, we've known each other for what? I don't know how long. A few years now, right?
Oh, man. Yeah, well, you and I think we probably played those shows together almost 10 years ago now.
At least, yeah. And like one of my other favorite shows that I've been to, I was there actually to see you guys, but I ended up discovering the Nothingtons.
Oh yeah, Nothington, yeah.
And that was when you guys played, and I remember just being there, and I was like one of the only like people in the crowd, and I was like,
think you're
segue. Can we segue? Segue. Okay, finish your story because I have a segue to that.
I know you do, but yeah, that was one of the coolest. Nobody was there. I think it was like on a Tuesday. Me and Mike from Phasers and Psycho 78 went. He was like, "Hey, you want to go to the show?" I'm like, "Yeah." Who's playing? He's like, "Nothingtons and Success." I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm not gonna say no to that.
Great band.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so segue.
Yes.
There was the talks, I don't know how true it was, about you leaving Seattle, moving to San Francisco and then joining Nothington.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a true fact, and what happened?
So I moved to San Diego. My ex-wife wanted to move to San Diego. We moved down there for a little while. But they are from San Francisco. But during the move, I was contacted by Tony Textiera. I think that's how you say his last name. But he was playing in Nothington. He was playing bass, and then he was about to quit. And so my name had gotten tossed in the ring to possibly join Nothington. And I had played with those guys, and I love Tony. Tony is now in Swing and Utters, and he was in the last iteration of the Cobra Skulls also. Great musician, incredible guy.
And I haven't thought about for a while.
And if you guys are Nothington fans, on the album it's the Bluebirds on the front and the Cityscape. On that album, my favorite song on there is Ocean. And that song was written and sang by Tony. It's this beautiful, beautiful song where the chorus is, I love the ocean because only there do my fears seem small. It's like fucking unreal for someone in that band to be writing that. Like, it like blew me away. And I was like, holy shit. But so Tony asked if I could be pitched for that band, and they immediately picked me up to play bass. So I did. I moved to San Diego, but then I drove up to San Francisco, and I did a 6-week tour with them. And then in that tour, everybody was having their own issues. It wasn't like the tour was all bad. It wasn't like, we had some great times. It wasn't like the band wasn't working out. It's just that I think everyone was kind of going through their own personal shit, trapped in a cylinder on wheels, for 6 weeks. And so shortly after that tour, I departed from them. But then, I love the guys. Like, I still talk to Jay, I still talk to Chris, and I think they're amazing dudes, and they're incredibly talented musicians. Like, just fucking, Jay was in Tsunami Bomb for a little while. Chris was in Enemy U, which is a band not a lot of people know, but it's fucking incredible. Yeah, they're just super, super talented guys, and I think they are like officially kind of over. I know they were like breaking up for a while, and then you'd see a new show. But yeah, I did join that band. I did move to San Diego for a year, and then I joined that band in San Francisco.
I remember
A year? It was
Yeah,
a year?
Well, I was saying I lived there for a year, and I was promised to be in that band prior to the tour that we went on. So basically, for a year, I was in that band. But I did move to San Diego for a year. Yeah.
I did not think it was that long. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Dear
I
fact
guess I was. I apparently I don't know that much about Rev.
Oh shit! Whatever. That's a
know, right?
minute detail. Yeah.
Well, I thought it was only like I thought you were only down there for like a month and then you came back.
No, I was there for a year, and I love San Diego. I don't know if I didn't have to move back, there were like personal things that were happening. If I didn't have to move back, I probably would have stayed down there. I love that town. I mean, Seattle.
No.
Seattle will forever be my home, but I very well could have stayed there because it was very beautiful and like I had a great time.
No,
There's so
because
many
if you
people
would
that I love down
if
there.
you would have stayed down there, what would have happened?
Oh, Joe just threw himself out.
Yeah, he was over it. He's probably going to ask what would happen with the bands and stuff that you were in, especially with like Success.
I have no idea what the fuck happened. That was
You exited. You were just over it.
That was weird. No, because if you would have fucking been gone forever, Success would have fucking ended, and I would have been heartbroken, and we would have never gotten Radio Recovery. So
That's true. That's very true. You know,
I will say though,
if you want to hear my breakup in real time, just listen to Life on the Rocks.
I know.
That was that record. Yeah. Sorry.
Radio Recovery, actually, speaking of that, that's actually one of my top like probably 10 albums. And I listened to that probably that one. This band, they're called Urethane. I don't know if either of you guys know who they are. I'm such a
skate punk band, right?
Yeah,
with
Steve Caballero is
Cobb-
guitar player.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually later this month. I'm actually flying to Yuma to play with those dudes.
Oh, cool! That's awesome.
Yeah, but like Radio Recoveries, I don't know what it is about that album, and like I didn't hear it until actually when we did that short run with you guys with Washington and Longview,
yeah,
and when we played. What was that place in Longview that we played? It was somebody's like warehouse.
Yeah, it was Josh from Broadway Calls' like print shop.
Yeah. And I remember your drummer, he had his drum case, had the big mustache, and that was when I just had, and I still have a picture of it, and it comes to my Facebook every once in a while, and I'm like, I want that case.
You should. I think he still owns it. You should reach out to Dave.
Dave.
Like, I want this case. Like it would make sense for me to have it. Like
absolutely.
But
so, and also I need to point out that I can't find any Success songs on TikTok anymore, and it drives me fucking nuts.
Oh wow, yeah, that sucks.
It's weird. It's weird. So you were saying skate punk, blah blah blah. I have to knock this out real quick. Rev, whatever happened with the kickflip, bro?
Okay, so I knew you were going to bring that up. I talked to Jake from the Drowns about it today. We were joking about it. I have done a kickflip. I feel like, give me a little bit, I could probably pull one off.
I tried to search.
I have no video footage.
I tried to search for the video of you get back into skateboarding and shit, and there was a video like, I'm going to kickflip again. It was like, to be continued. I just tried to search for it. I couldn't fucking find it. I was going to have it ready to go. And
it's private on YouTube, but I still have it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad you knew that I was going to fucking, because I've been thinking about it for fucking years.
I did. I don't have any video footage, but I feel like given a couple hours, I could probably pull one off again.
It's okay.
I mean, it wouldn't look good, but
I can't do a kickflip anymore. I can barely do an ollie these days.
I can't even skateboard.
So let me just get rid of that question.
I'm also getting too old. Like if I eat shit while skateboarding now, it'll harm me for the rest of my life. You know?
Dude, if we even sleep wrong, we're pretty much done for the next week.
Oh yeah, it's rough.
Bro, do you want to see where I fall asleep a lot? Okay, let me do this. I'm in my garage. There's this, let me see. There's this shitty little like futon click clack thing that has no padding. I fall asleep watching TV all the fucking time. This thing is hell to sleep on. So my wife will wake me up at like 7:00 in the morning. She's like, "What the hell?" And I'm miserable. I'm fucking miserable for like 3 days. I'm so glad I don't do labor work anymore. I'm like,
oh yeah,
if I do labor work, I'd be fucked.
Yeah.
Oh man, tell her I said hi. By the way, tell her I.
Oh
said
yeah,
hi.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. She ran off. She had to go do some shit for work, but I will.
So Rev, so what else? I mean, other than like with you guys doing because I saw that you guys are going to Europe and stuff coming up.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And actually, how was the East Coast? I wanted to ask you how was the East Coast with that run you guys did?
It was really cool. It was, I fucking love it over there. I love the towns, and they're so much fun to play in. And you'd be surprised. Well, you wouldn't be surprised. Joe definitely wouldn't be surprised, but you wouldn't be surprised how many people have been like, "Oh, I thought you were from Boston." To me, like I get that a lot from a musical standpoint. They're very like, "Oh, like it's especially with the drown stuff." They're very like, "Oh, I just assumed you guys were from here."
Why? Because you have 2 songs about Boston because of your wife.
Of my wife, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just like the little bit of like kind of Doc rocker, like Murphy's-ish influence at times, like things like that, or maybe just my raspy voice, something like that. But I fucking love playing over there. We played in New York and it was pretty good. We played in Boston, it was fucking amazing. Played in Pittsburgh and it was off the chain, and we played in Philly and it was tons of fun. So it was cool to be out there, but I will say it felt a little soon. Like we're trying to, someone's going to have to fucking break the levee and try to do shows and be safe about it. And that's exactly what we did. But to be fair, not a whole lot of people were in that same mindset.
Yeah.
To where like not everybody was taking the correct precautions and stuff. A lot of people were, a ton of people were, but you could tell there were everyone was starved for music, but it's almost there. It's like, it's getting there.
Yeah, we've actually got a few people even with my band that have been like, I can't believe you guys are playing shows, and it's just like, well, hold on a second. Like, we make sure we get tested. We make sure that like even after the shows, we make sure that if like the last time that we actually played Seattle, our guitar player actually and myself ended up getting COVID after a Seattle show, so we were out for a week. And luckily enough, it was very minimal. It was very, I just felt like it was a bad hangover. That's what mine felt like.
Well, the thing is, the people who have those opinions are correct. Their opinions are right, and there's things to back up why they have those opinions.
Yeah.
And I fully understand that. But also, I mean, obviously, I want to, for my own well-being and mental health, I want to play shows, but also for my livelihood, I need to do that.
Yeah.
That's like a lot of the way that I make money. So we do have to, the Drowns have to be out there doing that. And that was a really good way to kind of test the waters and see how it was going to go. And it would honestly better than I thought. I just think that, I think that our next tour plan is for late spring, early summer. It hasn't been announced yet, but it's for late spring, early summer, and I think hopefully by then people should kind of get it. Like, as long as we keep a good etiquette going at shows, it should start to sort itself out that we can at least safely do this,
Yeah, and like with how it's even been with us, like even when we were down in Portland, like it was kind of they a lot of people were there. They had their vax cards ready to go, and like the club that we played at didn't even ask people for it. They were saying, hey, just mask up. If you're not drinking, take a drink, pull your mask back up.
Was that the Twilight?
No, we actually played at a place called it was
the Hawthorne Hideaway.
That's right. Joe said that.
I was talking about it earlier. Yeah,
it was actually a cool spot. Only thing is I wish they would have got rid of one of the pool tables to have a bigger area. Other than that, it's actually a cool it's a really cool place, to play. So we all kind of have our own, like, I've only played Portland only a couple times. I've only played the Twilight the one time that we toured down with Burn and those guys. Have you actually found a spot that you actually like to play in Portland? That's like a small.
I do. Well, smaller wise, I can't say offhand. There was a couple places I loved playing. We played the Hawthorne. We played High Watermark was a place. I'm not sure if it's still around, but that was cool. They had really great food at that place. I remember that. I love the Bossa Nova Ballroom, but it's a huge space, so it's like, you know, it depends on who you're playing with as to if you can be in that room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do, and I will say the Twilight has always been good to us. The Drowns have had some great shows there.
Yeah, and I love how the stage is like 12 feet tall.
Whoa,
Yeah.
hold on.
And
hold on. I was just saying, so the Twilight, it's not the Twilight anymore. The Twilight moved. It's
yeah,
a
I've
different
been saying that. Yeah,
it's a different venue now, and that's where Teenage Bottle Rocket's going to play next month, and I'm not going to go because I hate that fucking venue. It's too small. It drives me nuts.
Small, and it's an awkward space. But I will say, selfishly, they have only one pinball machine, and it's a Dracula, and so I thoroughly enjoy that. So that's how you get me in the door. Like, I probably shouldn't say this on the internet, but if a promoter wants a deal, he's just got to promise my band pinballs.
Like, it's a cool place and all, but I think right now with like my anxiety and just how everything is, I can't be stuck in that place. I can't do it.
Oh, I get it. Absolutely. I absolutely get that.
Yeah, it's like even this weekend, it was cool because like the bar was separated from the venue. And I thought that was kind of cool because it was like, and people, you know, a lot of them were kind of just sticking to a lot of the touring bands that we played with were kind of just sticking to each other and just kind of staying in their own little bubble.
Yeah, we did basically the same thing. We toured with this East Coast shows. Stolen Wheelchairs came with us. Great guys, great band. And that's kind of the same thing. Yeah, they're really cool. They're it's Oscar from Far From Finished. I don't know if you remember that band. Incredible band from Massachusetts. And his son is actually the singer of the band, which is fucking crazy.
Oh, that's awesome. I remember the name, but yeah.
He has like a 19-year-old son, and also awesome. Named Oscar. But they fucking rule. Joe, I think you would really like Stolen Wheelchairs.
Hold on, sorry.
Allergies.
No, shit. Allergy season's been kicking my fucking ass so bad.
That sucks.
Oh, I hate it.
So, okay, Rev.
Stolen Wheelchairs?
Yeah,
great guys. Great band. I think you might really dig them.
So, this is something I got to ask. So, and I ask every band this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What is the worst band you've played with? And what is your favorite band you've played with?
Also, can I add to that? Also, the person that you were super stoked to meet but ended up being a disappointment, and then the person you actually were like that you were stoked to meet and actually turned into a fucking rad person. You don't have to answer that, but you can.
Well, all right.
That's a two-parter.
The worst is it's a little weird, but we played years ago. I believe it was Pistol for a Paycheck played at this place in Ballard they used to have a place called the Brick House that was on the beach in Ballard, like on the walks. And it was like a teen youth center during the day, and they would put on shows at night. And we played, and a band called Bent Cactus played, who was the thing is, they're not the bad band. Frank, who was the singer of that band, actually owns Thunder Road Guitars in Seattle. He owns a guitar shop now. I've known Frank for a really long time. But so we played that show. The opening band was an all-female G.G. Allen cover band, which is really cool. And they were like high schoolers, and they were badass. But for fake Dookie, they used chocolate bars. And for fake Piss, they used apple juice. And they played first. So you can imagine the stickiness and amount of disgusting that you just kind of had to play on. I had to throw all my cables away. I had to clean all of my gear. It was fucking disgusting. And
let me point out something real quick. This is 2 weeks in a row that G.G. Allen got mentioned and shit and piss and
that's no joke.
All right, go ahead.
So it's your fault. But also to add to that exact same sentiment, that when Success was on tour with Melancholy, we did 2 different tours with them. One of those tours we were following literally the night after. Like it was the same routing that the agents did. So the night after, we were the night after in every single town of ICP. So the stages were covered in soda, and they were covered in glitter, and they were covered in fucking chicken feathers. And like, it was the same thing to where everything was gross and it was disgusting. And I fucking hated it.
The last show I
Um,
saw Success play was at the Hawthorne when you guys were on tour with Melancholy. And what sucks is I got so shithoused that night.
I remember you being there. Yeah, you were in the
Well,
back
yeah.
for a while.
Yeah, exactly. I got so shithoused that night that we ended up going to a bar with some people that we met. I decided I was just gonna start taking a piss outside, and I had to like hop through this little barricade that they had from the outdoor seating area and just run away. I don't remember a lot of that show, and it sucks because I have a feeling that it's going to be the last time I will ever see that band.
No. There will be some at some point.
I have to push for it.
It'll happen sooner or later. I'm still friends with every member of that band.
Yeah, families.
The last iteration. Yeah.
Everybody
I love those guys.
They're doing family stuff and yada yada yada. I know.
Yeah, it'll do something down the road for sure.
It's just an album. I don't even care about a tour. Just an album.
I mean, there was a whole album written that never got released. There was an entire album that was like of songs ready to go. So it'll happen sooner or later.
Okay, good.
I don't. The best band I've ever played with is a really hard question, only because I've been doing it for so long, and I've been very fortunate to where I've gotten to play with so many bands that I love, and I've gotten to see so many incredible bands that you won't get to see anymore. And I feel very privileged to be able to do that. Some of them were just starting out and then they broke up and things like that. I will say, I should probably. I obviously I liked Bad Genes. I told you that when you guys were a band. And
but
and I loved Phasers. Phasers was an interesting one, and I think you know this story. But I was a huge fan of the Brothers band before, like years ago. I saw West of Waco, Chris's band, in like 2001. And I loved that band. I had this blue CD that I think they made on their own. That it was like just blue construction paper and said West of Waco in these little letters. They were fucking great.
I have one West of Waco shirt that I have that they gave me. They found, and I was like, I'm taking it. And I wore it to like one show.
And that's the problem with like me being able to pull that out of my ass. That's the problem with that question that you asked me, is that I'm also like, I'm an audiophile. Like I fucking love music still to this day, and I love bands, and I love finding new bands. We were talking about how you can still find new bands before Stump came on, but you have to dig, and I still will dig willingly. Finding new bands is a huge. I fucking love it. It's a huge. I almost called it a hobby, but at this point, it's like it is. And these days, like you're swamped with so much that you got to dig through the trenches.
I love it when like, okay, so like my bandmates, they're two main bands that those two dudes love is Descendants and Jawbreaker. And
great bands.
Really great. Like we do a cover of Boxcar. And I'm not really a big Jawbreakers fan. I'm not even a Jets to Brazil fan, but like I can appreciate that band. Same thing with Green Day. Like my bass player, he has a full sleeve of Green Day album cover, which is awesome. I think that's cool. But like I'm more into like the melodic stuff, more towards like I go even further into punk where it's not even punk anymore, but it's like to the bands that are like Bayside, Thrice. I'll even go to like Hot Water Music. To that kind of style, even like Snobby Bomb, like you said, like I'll go to that, and then all of a sudden I'll be listening to like Thorag, and
I love that band.
Like, I still have the shirt that I got from them in like 2002 to 2003. I
saw Throw Rag around that same time at the Chop Suey, and that was with Gogol Bordello before anyone knew who they were.
Yeah,
there was like 40 people there, and it was this it was so good. And it was a band called, the opener was a band. So the world is so small. Check this out. So there was a band that opened that show called Scotch Greens, and they were like from the South, and they were like kind of a cowpunk band with a banjo player, and I loved them. And they made one record, and then they broke up, and the record is fucking incredible. It's called Professional. And years later, I'm talking about that album while we're recording one of the Drowns albums, the first one with Ted Hutt in L.A. And as we're under tension, and as we're recording that, I'm talking about that, and Ted's like, "Oh, I did that record." So like years later, I'm working with the producer who did like these records that I fucking love, but that one was an obscure one. He was like, "I love that album. Nobody knows that album," and I was like, "Yeah, it's so fucking good."
Dude, that's awesome.
See,
I've got to say, when you guys were recording that album, though, like I remember seeing the picture of your gang vocals and shit, and one of the people just stuck fucking out. What was his name? Rick Thorne? No, was it Rick Thorne?
Yeah.
That fucking
Professional BMXer.
I lost my shit for a second. I'm like, dude, this guy knows everybody.
Rick Thorne and the Sack.
Shout out
Like,
to
you
Rick.
know fucking everybody.
That guy rules. He's such a fucking solid dude. I was on his podcast not too long ago.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Well, if you would have fucking, if I would have known, I would have fucking.
He's a good guy. Really, really positive. Really, guy with a really big heart. That's that kind of people I love meeting. Yeah, he's a great guy.
And Mike Fasano, the Sack, was also in your
Mike was there. Yeah,
Mike's such a good dude. He's one of my favorite people. Me and him talk constantly, and
he's a great dude. He's really funny too.
Oh yeah, like we give each other shit all the with being drummers, like we just talk shit to each other. But it's funny because a lot of times I'll talk to somebody and be like, oh yeah, I'm friends with so and so. And then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, you know the Sack?" And I feel like, "Yeah." Like,
he's a great guy.
Because I don't know him as the Sack. I only know him as Mike Fasano. Yeah. And he's like that guru. Because me being a drummer, but also being a tech guy, being a gear nerd, he, being that sort of thing. That's like he does what I want to do.
Yep. I mean, that's why we brought him in. Was he just on those records, he just tuned the drums for us. Yeah. He came in and just tuned everything fucking spick and span and made it sound incredible. And he actually hooked me up with someone who did that for my guitars on this last one too.
Yeah, and that's like me and him want to work together as well, and I really do, because like I know he's a solid dude. And
he's a great guy.
It's funny, every time we talk though, somehow either you get brought up or another mutual friend of mine and his gets brought up, and it's always funny how you two are the two guys that get brought up every time we talk, and I'm just like, whatever. Like
to finish that question real quick, the guys in Rancid, I was just thinking about that. The guys in Rancid were like,
oh super.
Fuck. You're good.
The guys in Rancid, when I met them, I was incredibly nervous, and they were all super fucking nice, like great guys, and they were just cool as shit. And Matt has come to see us on multiple occasions, and we've gotten to play with Charger, his band, which fucking rips.
They do.
So those guys were a big one for me. But this whole, I've talked about it before, and you guys know this. I'm just rehashing all the shit. But the whole like idea of trying to push positivity alongside of punk rock and now rock and roll, it rubs people the wrong way. It rubs some people the wrong way just because it's like they don't think that those things go hand in hand, which is totally fine. But I've gotten so much shit for it over the years, so that when I met Kevin Seconds from 7 Seconds, I was insanely nervous because to me he was a huge idol of mine, but then also like he was doing what I wanted to do. I wanted to push this positivity and this like kind of like not being a douchebag and like pushing that into your songs. And when I met Kevin, I was incredibly nervous, and he couldn't have been nicer. And now we've been friends for over a decade, and I love the guy to death, and he's just such a good dude and such a good songwriter.
When you guys did that tour with them, I still remember the fucking picture of Ian from Minor Threat standing behind you. And it was just literally like, we're about to do the song, and you are nervous as shit because you're going to go sing Ian's parts.
Yeah. He was unaccredited on that record. For Leave the Light on that song, he sang background vocals, but he's not accredited on the album, and he wanted it that way. And I had actually met him, or that was the first time I met him, but then I saw him again later. But I had been doing it that whole tour, and they'd bring me up, and I would sing the chorus and sing Ian's part at the end. And that day I saw him there, and then someone took that photo, and I was so nervous. And he came up to me and was like, "You gonna do it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it." And he was like, "You've been doing really good." And I was like, "You want to do it at your party?" He's like, "I don't do that." And I was like, "Okay." Like that was the end of that conversation. And then here's what's crazy. So we met in DC on that tour, and then a year or two later, he flew into Seattle to play with his wife on their project, The Evens. And I was working for Pearl Jam, and so they mailed their gear to Pearl Jam, and Pearl Jam received it. Like they do that for bands who are friends of theirs. And he walked right up and was like, "Rev, you work here?" And like
Fucking
that blew my fucking mind. It was so cool that he was just like that kind of dude. He like remembered and was super nice.
You're kind of like that same fucking person. The last time I saw you, you were in mid fucking conversation. You're like, "I'm going to talk to you in like 2 seconds," and you're like that same fucking kind of person. Like, shit, you're not. It's fucking weird. So, I mean, we didn't get to the part where the coolest fucking person you ever met, just like musician, or I mean, even the most random person that you wouldn't think, or that I wouldn't think you're fucking friends with. And I swear to God, if you say Weird Al, I'm going to lose my shit. But
I fucking wish, dude.
Like, who is like literally the coolest fucking person that you're like friends with, that you would never thought in a million years that you would be doing, like you would do it?
Dirty laundry is right here in a pile on the floor. Look at this. Was me yesterday. Look at this.
Fucking A. Love that fucking movie so goddamn much. I literally, when I have to mop the building that I work at, I go, "This is my mop," and I think of fucking
this is my mop.
That's my mop, and I can't do it in front of my bosses because they wouldn't fucking understand. But
of course,
yeah.
I don't know, man. I've that's a loaded question. Like, there's a lot of cool people that I know, and they're all cool for different reasons. You know, I could go the wholesome route and say that I'm fortunate enough to know a lot of cancer survivors who inspire me more than anyone has ever made music. You know, things like that. And there are plenty of people who I know who have gone through something like that, and it's been amazing. I think I would say one of the coolest people that I'm at this point that I'm friends with is Skip from Pirates Press Records, because I admired that guy's record label for so long, and it's like a privilege to be on it. And he's become one of my very good friends now. And he's one of the guys that I contacted during the pandemic the most. And like, he's one of those dudes that I have tons of respect for, but he also is like just a fucking solid dude. Like, he's a businessman and he's smart, and he's made something out of nothing. And that's one of my favorites. I mean, I also know some celebrities and stuff too, but
yeah.
You know.
Okay.
He's a big one for me.
Name drop. Just name drop one. Just name drop one.
Oh man. Oh God, I don't know. I'm trying to think of who I could comfortably do that to, and they would be like, "Yeah, totally." I don't know. You're gonna have to let me think about that so I can be strategic.
Mine is, like, shit you not, as much as I hated this guy for 15 fucking years, me and him I now conversate all the time. The dude from Epic Mealtime. Because I've been compared to Harley so many fucking likes for years, and sure as shit, because of TikTok, he's like, "So somebody told me about you," and I'm like, well,
Brian from Blank Check, Brian Bonsall. The kid who played in Blank Check, Brian. He's awesome, and he's a musician, and he's an incredible guitar player. He was in the Ataris for a little while.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was in the Ataris.
Mm-hmm. But I love Blank Check when I was a kid. That movie fucking ruled.
Oh, dude,
I literally watched it like 2 nights ago. Like, shit you not. That's great.
Oh man, yeah, I love that shit.
Stump, do you have anything you need to ask or say before I ask the most important question ever asked?
Yes. All right. So, since me and you, and not Joe, because Joe's not going to understand this, what is your favorite vegan restaurant ever?
Oh man, I've been eating at the Wayward Cafe for like 20 years.
I love that.
3 different owners, and I love that place, and they're great people, and they deserve good business. And I feel like they're one of those places where I'll take my family or people who eat meat, and it's just good food.
Yeah.
So that's a big one for me. Oh man, Trejo's Tacos has vegan options in LA, and that's they make cauliflower tacos. That's one of the best meals I've ever had in my life. But you know what? So with that said, for my wife and I's anniversary, I think 2 years ago, we went to this place called Harvest Beat, which is in Wallingford. and everything is locally sourced. Like every single thing they make is, they tell you before the meal, they sit you down, and it's kind of expensive. It's like a 5-course meal, so it's one you only do every now and then. But they sit you down, they tell you what the name of the farm is, what city it came from, the name of the farmers, and everyone who went into making the food for you, and they make you appreciate where that came from and all the hard work, and then they fucking feed you. And I love that. And their food is the greatest meal I've ever had in my life. Like if I was in prison on death row, I would ask for harvest beet as my last meal.
I don't know why, but that reminds me. You guys have probably seen it. There's an episode of Portlandia where they sit down at the restaurant, and the dude's like, "Where is it from?" And he like does that, and it's just like, and they ask like what the chicken's name was, and like what like, and it's just like I don't know why, but that's kind of what but that's awesome. Because
I mean, in New York though, I did just have the vegan fried chicken from KFC, and that was fucking awesome too. So.
I saw that. I was going to ask you, how was that?
Delicious. I loved it. Yeah.
I actually have a story about the Portlandia whole shit. So my wife used to work at a Sears outlet over here in Portland. And like the producers and all that shit from Portlandia came in because they wanted to do a whole skit of the goth couple characters. They wanted to come in and go shopping for, appliances and shit. My wife called me and she lost her fucking mind. I said, I'm going to be there when this happens. The people who owned that franchise were like, fuck no. I was like, well, it will actually advertise. No, fuck that. We do not want to be. So they ended up doing a whole different thing. They were searching for a vacuum at some other, but I remember the fucking segment. I was like, this could have been your store, but so-and-so had to be a dick. Yeah, he's like, no, I don't want anything to do with that. We are too professional for comedy.
That's weird.
When that show came out, I remember my friends in Portland were pissed. They were like super mad about it. And like, I mean, I get it, I guess, it's like, it's probably just the stereotypes you've heard a million times and you don't want everybody asking you about it. But I remember Success was making put a bird on it jokes after the first season. And they weren't finding that funny at all.
Well, it's like my buddy,
there are birds everywhere in Portland.
It's like my buddy Aiden will not watch Letterkenny because he's like, I could just drive down the fucking road and just go look at those fucking people. It's like he lives in Canada. He doesn't need to go fucking see it on TV.
Well, and the funny thing is I actually know people that have been on Portlandia, like personally, that are on there all the time. Because, being in the beard community, they're always on that show.
Oh, yeah.
And there's my friend, Jed. He's big bearded dude. He always wears fingerless gloves. And it's always funny to me because I see him in like every so often. And I'll see some of the Portland Beardsman guys on that show too. And I ask them, I'm like, oh, so how's it being on Portlandia? And they're just like, it's Portland.
Yeah.
I love that.
All right, I'm going to do
Joe.
The thing.
And
do the thing.
Most important question ever asked.
Who's hotter, Jason Momoa or Ryan Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds all day long.
Fucking A! Thank you! God.
What's
I
your reason,
I know someone who used to be with Jason Momoa.
Oh, God.
I honestly, I just think that I find humor really attractive. My wife is one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life, and she'll never own up to that. But her timing is impeccable. And like the first time we met, she gave me shit right out of the gate. Like, she's from Massachusetts, so the first time we met, she gave me shit, and it was so fucking funny. It was so quick-witted that I just immediately felt.
Uh-oh. And we lost Rev.
What'd you do?
I didn't do anything. Rev, come back.
Can you get him back in there?
I don't know what the fuck happened. I swear to shit, if his shit died or if he got a fucking call, I'm not ready.
It's all right. We figured that he'll pop back in.
He better.
He will. He will.
Okay, wait, there he is.
I just exploded. That was so weird. Safari just shit all over me.
I mean, shit, it happened to me earlier too, so.
Absolutely Ryan Reynolds. I think he's hilarious. And I think that too many people give too much shit to the Green Lantern movie. I don't think
Oh.
it's incredible,
It
but I
was-
don't think it's as bad as they said it was.
No, it was ahead of its time before everything else exploded.
Yeah.
It really
it's
was.
just like it's like when people give shit about Ben Affleck because of Geely. Geely wasn't that bad. Geely wasn't that bad, okay? But
Yeah, when Ryan Reynolds was in fucking Waiting, and that movie's hilarious. And if you've ever worked in the service industry, that's like your Bible. It's the funniest fucking movie.
I remember him with Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place.
Yeah, and then Van Wilder, wasn't he in that?
Van Wilder,
yeah.
All right, so now a different like fat Chris Pratt or fit Chris Pratt. You got to think these are two different fucking people these days.
That's true, and I think he was great in Guardians, and I think he's hilarious.
Yeah,
but I would probably go. I mean, I think a dumpier guy is a little more kind of my style. So, probably a little more round. And his improvising on Parks and Rec was fucking hilarious.
I was gonna say him on Parks and Rec make that show.
But Guardians is really good.
I hate how like it's turned into a thing with him. It's like, but he was funny in Parks and Rec, but this and that. It's like, no, listen, you guys. He was a fat, funny guy in Parks and Rec. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But even with being skinny, he still has that personality. It's just
he's a handsome dude. He's a handsome dude, and not in the like skinny or fat, and not in the like heartthrob way. And I respect that. He's like a guy next door kind of look. And if a guy like that fucking makes it, I'm stoked for him.
Well, it's great. He's from here, isn't he? From Seattle.
Yeah, he's from Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he went to like Everett High or some shit. So is because when he was married to Anna Faris, like she's from up in that area too. And then I didn't want to talk about that breakup.
I'll say this though, I guess he's like a B to a C celebrity that I met when I worked at the airport was I got to meet oh god, what was his name? Ross Geller. He was the Ross the intern. No, not David Schwimmer. He's the Ross the intern. His name's like Ross something. And he was one of the sweetest. I've met like some celebrities working, at the airport.
Yeah, of course.
But one of the coolest was actually when there was two. One was when the band Lower Class Brats actually came through and they wrapped my store. And I'm like, oh yeah, you guys are a band, right? And the singer, I think his name is Bones.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking. What?
Those guys are really good friends. I love them.
I have a story.
Okay,
so Lower Class Brats, they came and played Bremerton, and then they played Seattle when it was Dead Baby Downhill, which was I still will remember this story because I was out in the fucking street outside the morgue, and literally Dave and Austin just fucking like grabbed me from behind, like, "Hey, I know you." It's like, holy shit! It was like a random thing.
Yeah.
But the bass player of Lower Class Brats blew out Angel's amp because it was a small amp, but it fucking always got mic'd and shit. He just got mad and kept on cranking it up, blew her fucking amp. Bones, on the other hand, at the morgue, he went fucking crazy and I reeked of fucking beer because he starts throwing shit at everybody. I had to drive fucking home. I was sort of sober that night. I'm like, great, if I get pulled over, I'm fucked. I got drenched by that motherfucker.
I love those dudes.
It was funny because like I was telling him, I was like, oh yeah, like I play up here, in Seattle and blah blah blah, and I'm doing all these things, and he was like, oh, like we know a bunch of the dudes, and I was like, cool, like what's the band name? And he's like, oh, Lower Class Brats, and I was like, cool, I'll have to look you guys up because I don't know who you guys are, and I look them up, and of course, like I get a friend request literally within like an hour. And it's them on my personal stuff, and then they're sending me like everything, and I'm just like, "This is like I was like, this is cool that they're doing this." One of the worst celebrities I met actually working there, well, not worse, but just kind of, I get and understand why he was the way he was, but was Anderson Cooper. He was very like baseball cap, sunglasses, had like a scarf on. He was very like incognito basically, but he was a prick, and it was just like, it's like, dude, like we're just trying to give you food and trying to give you snacks so you can be on your way. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care who, like, whatever.
Fuck, what was her name?
So to me, it was just, yeah, it's
we
like,
all look the same buried. That's how I think about it in the end. You know,
Yeah.
it's like there are, and then the thing is, maybe there was something going on with them that day, and that's whatever. But it's like, I don't know. If you're a shithead, you're a shithead to someone, and there's always so many choices you could have made that weren't that.
exactly.
My tolerance is so low for it.
Oh, I know. Like mine, like I did my customer service thing. I was like, well, have a great day. Have a good flight. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I kept positive the whole time. And literally, like, my coworkers are like, dude, that dude was a prick. And I'm like, whatever. Like, I've dealt with worse, you know. So.
But
You know, one of the most random people I ever met, and it, you know who Mary Kay Letourneau is.
yeah, she's from here. Yeah.
So I know. No, hold on. So I used to work at a pawn shop. I used to work on a pawn shop in Tacoma, and her ex-husband used to come in all the time and buy shit. But he never wanted to use his name and shit until he was using a credit card to pay. And I looked at it. I go, oh, fuck. He goes, shh. Because he always came in fucking disguise. And like he was one, but it was one of those things. He goes, I don't have cash. You need to take this. And I go, oh.
When Success was on tour a long time ago, we were outside of Amoeba and Danny Glover walked by, and I was like, oh shit, say something cool, you know? And I was like, I loved you in Predator 2, which wasn't a joke. I did seriously. I love that movie, and I think it's a great film. And he just went, thanks, and like kept walking. So fast forward years later, me and Tammy, we fly to LA, and it's her first time in LA, and we get off the plane and we're waiting for the shuttle for our rental car. And she's like, oh, do you think we're going to see any celebrities? And I was like, I don't know. I see some sometimes when I'm down here. And then one of the shuttle buses for the one rental car company is starting to take off. And we hear someone going, wait, God damn it. Wait, God damn it. And he's like running out of the airport. It's fucking Danny Glover again. And he runs into the fucking.
Oh, shit.
He runs out of the car and he takes off. And I look over and she's smiling really big. And she's like, do you think when he got on there, he said, I'm too old for this shit?
So one of the coolest and most random people I ever met, and also go the story kind of like the shittiest people I ever met. So you remember Shane West when the Germs movie came out, What We Do is Secret, and how he toured with the Germs.
Oh, you fanboys
and they played
so much.
Oh, listen. And they did Seattle. I will say that this is a great story and a shitty story because Dawn sucked and Pat Smear sucked. I went to Shane West and I didn't talk to him about the Germs. I talked to him about A Walk to Remember.
Oh, yeah. That movie's incredible.
So there were Numos, and then the bar next door. We went to fucking Numos, had drinks, and I'm just talking about like, so, because that's one of my favorite movies all the time. I was like, so Mandy Moore, like she dies, blah, blah. He's like, are you fucking kidding me right now? He's like, I'm at a punk rock show and somebody's talking about A Walk to Remember. I was like, yes, dude, I'm obsessed with that fucking movie. And I couldn't stop. I could not fucking stop. I annoyed the shit out of him. I know I did.
I went on a date to go see that movie, like when that movie came out. Like
that movie.
we stayed like halfway through, and then she was like, "I'm over it," and I'm like, "All right." Like, but
I avoided hanging out with the Crumb Bums after a show when they played the Wagon Wheel to go home and watch A Walk to Remember and The Notebook. I was like, I don't want to hang out with these guys.
I'll say this: one of the coolest like rock star moments I had was I actually got to meet Rick Nelson at the airport, and I knew it was him, but at like from far away I was like, is that Rick Nelson? No, that's not Rick. That's not him. Yeah. And I'm in my uniform, you know, and I walk up and I'm like, excuse me, like, you're Rick Nelson, like, and he's like, yeah, like he like something like I thought he was gonna, and I'm just like, I like your band, and he's just like, all right, like he was just so confused because it was such an awkward, like, I'm just like, I don't even know what to say. I dig your guys' songs and I dig your guitar work, and he was like, oh, okay. I was like, where are you flying? And literally that was like, it went from like fanboying, not fanboying, but just being like, I like your band. Where are you guys going? Like, where do you guys need help where can I direct you to go?
Yeah.
And him and his wife, super sweet people. And it was super cool because like he was like, oh well, it's nice meeting you. And he's like, what's your name again? And I told him, and he's like, all right, well, have a good day. And he's like, hopefully like your day goes good. And I was just like, well, have a good flight. And he's like, I'll see you later. And that was it. And I was just like, but he was so down to earth, but it was one of those moments where it was just like, I texted my mom and I was like, I just met Rick Nelson. She's like, who's that? And I'm like,
like,
I'm like,
you should know.
Yeah, I was like, you should know, the guitar player from Cheap Trick. And I didn't want to like pull my phone out and be like, hey, do you mind if I get a picture with you? And you know, I usually don't like to do that stuff because I always think it's funny when people do that with me. And it's always funny because I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Like how do you want to? It's awkward.
I don't know. I think it's always at least a little humbling, you know. But it's nice.
Yeah.
Like when somebody asks,
has anybody ever stopped you? Has anybody ever stopped you when you're taking a piss at a Fred Meyer and be like, "Hey, Joe, I know you from," and it's like, bro, it's like, "Oh yeah, I saw you play last weekend." I'm like, "No, come on." That was the weirdest fucking thing that ever happened. It was in Gay Harbor. So
the Drowns were playing Rebellion Festival, which in my opinion is the greatest run festival in the entire world, in Blackpool, England. And we got there the day before, and we were just walking around, and we were nervous because it was our first time playing there and our first time playing in front of that crowd. And the guys from Coxbar kind of helped us get on, and we were really excited, but we were nervous to play in front of that crowd. And the day before, we're walking around, we walked by this like candy shop, and like there's this couple who's a little bit older than us, and they're making weird eye contact, and they're on the opposite side of the street. And keep in mind, the festival hadn't started yet. It's the next day. And so the guy keeps looking at us, and I'm like, fuck, am I wearing the wrong shirt? Did I like piss this guy off? Like, what's going on? And as we get past, he turns around, and in the most hard to understand Scottish accent, he goes, "The drums, they're fucking drums."
Shit.
I was like, what the fuck? And I turn around, and this guy runs up, and he's like, "The drums, they're fucking drums." And I was like, yeah, man, we're the Drowns. And he was excited to see us, and he was telling us, and his wife was like, "Hey, watches you all the time on the YouTubes." Like, she was like super excited. And
there's my wife. There's my wife right there.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, Stumpy finally made it. Yeah.
I did. I finally made it.
And so he was like super nice, and his name's Kirky, and we're friends now. And but it was one of those where he was like, "Can we take a fucking picture?" And I was like, "Absolutely," because I want document when I tell the story later of who you are. We always
I've never taken pictures with people. I've never like done the pictures like because I played with a lot of cool bands. Shit. I didn't even know who some guy was one time. He's like, because we played a show in Bremerton with this band called Introspect. And somebody playing guitar from them, like James Durfee was like, he's losing his shit. It was Brad Logan. Brad Logan was on tour with them. And, Brad Logan's talking to me after my fucking set. I didn't even know who the fuck he was. I'm like, all right, cool. Thanks, dude. No fucking idea. And Durfee's like, you know who the fuck that was, right? I go, no. Sure shit. Brad Logan was complimenting me on fucking this, that, the other thing. But it's like, was he being nice or did he actually like it? But I was playing with Red, White, and Die, so I assumed he liked it.
There was when Success got done playing in 2015, we played a main stage at Punk Rock Bowling. When we had just got done, I had walked back in the crowd. I was like on cloud nine, euphoria. I was excited. And I went to go walk back in the crowd from the backstage area. And this huge, burly, tattooed fucking man spins me around. Huge guy. And he was like, "You got that real shit, that positive shit, that fucking 7 seconds minor threat shit. You got to keep going. You got to do this shit. You can't stop." And I was like, okay. And like, he was screaming at me, but it was all compliments. So like, it was really awkward. And then once I walked into the crowd, somebody was like, "Oh, hey, that was the guitar player from Sick of It All. He really likes your band."
I was going to say,
he just like,
that really sounded like
30
that sounded
Fletcher.
Like, oh yeah, I was thinking Fletcher, or it also sounds like in H2O when like they have their little fucking conversations like after songs and shit. There's the one dude that's like, I thought that's who you're fucking that your impression was just spot on.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. If you know who I'm fucking talking about or what I'm talking, yeah.
In high school, when I was, speaking about, we're talking about fanboy stuff. When I was in high school, I had Toby from H2O sign the top of my Converse, or my Chuck Taylor, like the white cap on the top of the toe, because I was like 14. Yeah, I had Toby from H2O sign that. I was a big fan. I love that band. I still love that band.
Dude, I used to have a collection of like autographs from bands and shit, and I don't know what the fuck happened to them. I had them all in a cigarette pack in my old car. I know, but the cigarette pack was signed by Jerry Only from the Misfits, and this was when I was really into the Misfits and shit. He signed it, and he's like, "You have to quit smoking," and he got like dad mode. And I kept all my autographs in there. All of them were fucking gone except for the set list from DOA when they played old Hell's Kitchen years ago.
You know who's really into the Misfits? Jerry Only.
Me.
Of course he is. He's the only
I wonder if he has a Misfits tattoo like my dumbass does.
You know what? Hey,
I am gonna get I'm gonna get a Live, Laugh, Love My Darling around it though, because
you know what? One of the greatest bass players had the skull tattooed on him. So I'll never talk shit about that tattoo.
One of the greatest bass players, as in like Matt Freeman?
No, Cliff Burton.
Oh fuck. Okay.
That's the guy who's in Megadeth, right?
He was actually in a band called Triumph.
Okay? Hey, don't shit talk Triumph.
Oh fuck. I can't make jokes about fucking Cliff Burton, man. Oh,
he ripped super hard.
Oh, dude, he's like one of he had this whole tattooed on him. So, and Misfits was one of his favorite punk bands.
I mean, the thing is, the Misfits have their place.
They're good.
Yeah, but
Misfits have their place.
Okay, but do you know about the Undead?
Oh yeah, I know about Bobby Steele. Yeah.
Okay.
Bobby Steele and
yeah.
So there's a band. They were from Detroit. They broke up and shit. They're called Against the Grain, and I saw them at Dante's. And the bass player, just the way he fucking played, I go, holy shit! And I saw him in the fucking bathroom afterwards. I'm like, how do you feel about Cliff Burton? Because literally the way he was fucking doing shit, and literally I just stopped him after to take a piss. He's like, I fucking love that guy. I'm like, that's exactly what I fucking thought. Seeing old videos of Cliff Burton and then seeing this fucking dude playing a Rickenbacker, I was like, dude, everything that you just did was fucking amazing.
Oh, it's rad.
You know why he played a Rickenbacker, right? Did you ever know about that? He only played a Rickenbacker because of Geddy Lee.
Oh, that's cool. That makes sense.
Yeah,
I bet that guy sold a lot of basses that way. I bought a Geddy Lee jazz bass when I was in Nothington because I played bass in that band.
Because I actually almost bought one when they kind of came out because I play bass, just kind of a little bit. I'm not that great or anything, but the jazz necks just felt easier for me to play. But I ended up getting a Jaguar, I forget, it was like the Jaguar Deluxe or whatever.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
It had a jazz neck, and then it had the J and the P pickups and the Jaguar body, and it was super cool. And I was like, I loved it, but I ended up selling it because I was like, well, I want to play more drums and bass. So
my dad had a Rickenbacker, and I hated, he would want me to play it when he first got it. He's like, play this. I didn't like that fucking pick guard or the little fucking, what the fuck is that thing called?
Yeah, like the cover, the pickup cover.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it does kind of get in the way when you're trying to do, especially if you're going to do picking it.
But my dad was obsessed with the Beatles, and so he would only play.
I've heard of them.
Ridiculous.
You've heard of
them? I hate the Beatles.
People shit me so hard for wearing that shirt. I bought a shirt that says the Beatles are only okay, and people shit all over me. I didn't even say they were bad. I liked some Beatles stuff, but I heard a T-shirt that said they're only okay, and people shit all over me.
See, I didn't grow up with the Beatles, so for me, I didn't see this sort of infatuation that people have with them, right?
Mm.
And like it's so weird. Like I just watched that documentary on Disney Plus that they did,
I need to
and
watch
like
that still.
it's actually for watching, like being as a musician and watching how these dudes like actually wrote the songs and how they like and how they shit all over George the whole time is like it's one of those like literally every episode they shit on George, but there's one episode and it sticks out to me still. Paul goes, Yoko is going to be the reason we break up.
Oh
Like
wow.
almost word
Yep.
for word. Like, oh yeah, he's like, she is the reason we will no longer be the Beatles. And it's like they knew ahead before they were, but this was like after they.
I respect what they did, absolutely. And there are some songs that I love, but someone asked me that when I wore that T-shirt, and I wore that as a joke because I thought that it was funny that people give any musician a holier than thou kind of like complex. But so someone said on that, like in a thread on that was they said there's no artist that you can say that's been more influential, and I would argue that there are tons. You know, like I would argue that Little Richard had more to do with rock and roll than the Beatles did.
Yeah,
and
100%.
and you know, I haven't watched that that docuseries yet, and I definitely am going to because it sounds incredibly interesting. But
it is.
I think it's still going to be hard for me not to think of the people who inspired them. And then also, I felt like towards the end they didn't take anything seriously. Like,
no,
you know, and to me that's a little tough.
You see that too during the series. Like you see like literally there's one point where John is literally grabbing a joint out of his jacket and he realizes he's still on camera and he's like, oh whoops, like and they're in their 20s, they're still kids.
I saw Mikey's comment. Mikey, I'll go to a hockey game with you anytime. Seriously, anytime. Just let me know when you're available. Let's go to a fucking hockey game. Same thing goes for you guys since we're in the room. Anytime you want to go to a hockey game.
Well, fuck, I don't go up there, but the bar I work at, we're trying to get like the whole like Kraken fucking sponsorship thing. It's a whole thing. So let me say the thing about why I hate the fucking Beatles. My dad was obsessed with the Beatles. So my dad was a musician. So he would wake me up with him playing the Beatles like discography early in the morning. He played on guitar and then he would play it on bass. And I could only deal with that shit so much. But that's what, and then like my mom would do the same shit but with Patsy Cline. I can respect Patsy Cline more than I can respect the fucking Beatles. It just got so fucking annoying. And my dad's like, oh, if it wasn't for the Beatles, you wouldn't be playing punk rock and all this shit. You guys need to play Helter Skelter. You need like Dad. Like I will respect the Beatles for what they did, but I'm at that like when I was in high school, it's like everybody in high school was always like Nirvana, Led Zeppelin, the Beatles. Like they always wanted to like praise these fucking bands as if like they were the biggest shit in the world. It's like, no, there's better bands out there.
Yeah.
Well, even if it's not like a means of like, you know, which band is better. It's just like to pigeonhole any band as the greatest, I think is insane. Because literally your perspective is just it's so drastically different from person to person that there's no way any of us can make that call. You know, I would say that even a learned professor at fucking Berkeley would have a pretty different answer than just one of us. You know what I mean? It's like everyone's background takes, and you know, I try to think about that when I poke fun at a band like the Beatles, but I don't know, man. I think it's Fats Domino and Chubby Checker.
I will always respect as musicians, sure. Like I will always, I mean, I've watched all their fucking movies that they did. I'm going to watch it. Like I've watched documentaries on bands I fucking hate because I respect fucking people that are musicians and still doing their fucking thing.
It's
like,
I was going to say, I've been watching the 311 docuseries, like web series that they got going on. Yeah. Dude, for being a band, like, I know this is kind of going so, like, 180, but, like, they literally they still do the same thing. They love what they do. Like, even if there's, like, turmoil within the band, they hash that shit out and then go play a show. Like, and it's crazy because that band, like, you think about it with, you know, we all know this as musicians, like, being in a band is like a marriage. And it sucks. But at the same time, like, I'm also, like, I love being in a band more than I love being in any relationship I've been in. Because I do. Because it's like, I spend more time with those dudes than I do with anybody else. I get to do a passion and a drive that they want. We have the same sort of mentality. We want to go forward and do, that certain thing. And sometimes we can we were sharing hotel rooms, snoring and, like all that and farting and whatever. And it sometimes can be kind of annoying because then you're just like, dude, shut up.
Everybody's little nuances become annoying when you're like around them all the time,
Exactly.
The Drowns played Back to the Beach Festival in Huntington Beach in like 2018 or 19 with like Blink 182 and Real Big Fish and like all these fucking crazy bands. And Goldfinger, they put it on, and it was Goldfinger and Travis Barker, and Goldfinger brought a bunch of their friends on stage to do like certain songs that they were like their hit, And Nick Hexum from 311 was there, and that guy was nice as shit. I met him, and he was incredibly sweet and super fun to talk to, and just a really, really fucking solid dude. And they played like Amber by 311, I think. But yeah, he was cool as fuck. He was super nice, and so was the Rome from Sublime with Rome. That guy was there too.
Rome. Yeah,
he was also super fucking nice. And then this is just a total random story. I think it was Blink 182, but they had some old 9 Inch Nails road cases. And so they were in the back that they had unpacked some of their shit with. And it had like the 9 Inch Nails logo spray painted and stuff on it. And there was a guy in a very flashy, like bedazzled-y kind of like tough guy vest, like with spikes and stuff. But it was like really flashy, like crazy flashy.
Yeah.
And he like got down in front of it and he was like getting a buddy to take a photo. And the guy who was taking the photo had a back patch of that band that did Butterfly.
Oh, Crazy Town.
Yes, he had a Crazy Town back patch. And then when I looked over to see his buddy he was taking the photo of, it was the singer of Crazy Town backstage at this festival getting a photo with the 9 Inch Nails road cases. It was so weird.
That's awesome. That's
and I remember being like, "Oh, that's weird. I'm gonna go watch the Aquabats play now."
Yeah, like that's a weird, like, I don't know. That's like one of those things where, like, when you kind of meet those, I call it like the unicorns out in the wild, where you're just like, where like that, or like for me, when one day, like when I used to work at a music store, I'm just doing my thing, and all of a sudden the singer from Guttermouth comes walking in. And I'm like, Mark. And I'm just like, of course, like the dude I'm working with is like fanboying so much to the point where I'm like, go on lunch, like, go away. Like, and I start talking with him and the dude's like super chill. And I'm just like, I'm so sorry about my coworker. He knows what band you're in. And Mark's just kind of like, do you know what band I'm in? I'm like, of course I know what band you're in. And, but we actually ended up, there was one time, this is the whole other thing. The techs from, what was it? Coldplay came into that store because they needed stuff for their, and they had Coldplay on their bus. Like there was like, Coldplay was like plastered all over it. And crazy. Yeah, so we're like literally taking pictures of their bus and sending it to like our coworkers that weren't there, and we're like, "Oh, guess who we got to meet today?" Like, just stupid shit like that. But I actually had to meet who was it? It was the techs for Suicidal Tendencies when they were doing like some festival here a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
And
Rainfest or something.
I don't even know what it was. I think it was the Rancid one that they did here, like the beer and taco or whatever it was, drinking taco, or I don't know what it was called, but I was talking to this guy and I was just like, oh yeah, like Suicide's cool and all, but I can't stand Dave Lombardo. Like I can't stand that dude's drumming. I think it's sloppy. I think it's horrible. I don't think he's a good drummer. That's my opinion. And he's just chuckling. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, and he goes, yeah, I'm actually his drum tech.
That's
and I'm
funny.
like, oh. And he's like, yeah, the dude just pays me. I'm like, okay, fair enough.
That's funny.
Like, so But that's funny that like you're there seeing one band and then like that whole road case thing, and you end up finding out the dude. Like, how would you?
It was so weird. It also
like,
felt like an out of body experience. It was like, am I really staring at the guy from Crazy Town right now? It's like, this is so weird.
That is so fucking random. That is super
and he
fucking
looked
random, though.
exactly the same. That's the crazy part too, is that
they're
he
still
looked
doing music
exactly the same. Yeah.
Well, it's just like when I ran into the drummer from Newfound Glory back in the day at a van store in Tacoma because he was dating a girl who lived in Tacoma. And I'm just like looking at fucking shoes and I just look over like, that guy looks familiar.
Cyrus.
Oh, fuck. And I just go, so he goes, yep. I get cool.
Yeah.
I just kind of left him alone. But it was just so fucking random because like you think of like the people of bands you don't pay that much attention to. And it's usually the drummers. And the bass players. No,
except for every single time I've been to a Zebrahead show, I always get mistaken for Dan. Every single time.
That's just the mustache. Yeah.
It's the mustache and being bald and the mustache. And it's funny because every single time, like I keep telling him, like, Dan, we have to do a band together. We have to get a bass player that only has a mustache, and we need to call ourselves Whiskers. And it needs to be a band all about mustaches. And he's for it. I'm like, we have to do this. Like,
it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I just always think about like those 3-piece bands or whatever. There's always that person that is just there, but they're not known for that fucking like we think about Chris from MXPX. We think about what's his face from fucking who plays in Green Day.
Jesse.
Yeah, their other guitar player.
Isn't it Jesse?
Fuck, what?
I thought his name was like conversation. Frank.
No, he plays in that one fucking band. Rev, you know exactly who you know the guy.
Well, he plays in the side projects, and then are you talking about? I thought it was Jesse.
What the fuck is the guy's name?
He's also in like Foxborough Hot Tubs with him and stuff.
That's not the band I'm thinking of. I swear you guys played like Fest with them years ago.
Are you thinking about Pinhead Gunpowder?
Fuck no.
Don't even think about it. It'll come to you.
It's gonna come to me, and I'm just gonna message Rev at fucking 4:00 in the morning. I'm like, it's this guy. I'm not gonna go through my fucking Spotify and. Oh fuck.
Chris, actually, it was really funny when Chris was playing. I think it was called like the 360 Fest or whatever with Bayside, Mask Intruder. When like MXPX was doing it in Chicago. He was telling me, he was like, we were texting, and he's like, dude, it's the weirdest thing. He goes, when those dudes put on their masks, he goes, they're a completely different person. And he's like, they're full on, like, once they put that mask on, they do the accent, they do not break character. Like,
yeah, we toured with them. Success toured with them, and it was very much that, and they take it very seriously.
Oh, like, yeah.
You know, it's goofy and
the guitar player it's Jason White. It's Jason White from
Jason.
Gunpowder, but that's not the band I'm thinking of, though.
Oh, well, then I'm thrown off.
Maybe it is Foxborough Hot Tubs.
Success played with we played with Swingin' Utters. We were on tour with Swingin' Utters. Trey Cool's wife's band opened up one of our shows, and we got to meet him, and he was insanely nice. He was a super, super nice guy. Is
that why he has your guys' shirt?
He bought it there, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that picture pop up. I think I was probably not the only person that sent it to you, but they were in a truck stop, and he's wearing the Success shirt, and he has that goofy hat on. He has snacks. I know I sent it to you.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, he was super fucking nice. And that night, during our set, two big guys got in a fight, and one in the crowd, and one of them knocked the other one down, and he cut his head open. And I stopped the set, and I ran out there, and I pulled the dude, took him to the door, and I was like, don't throw this guy out, but he needs medical attention. And then I walked over to the other guy, and I was like, hey, man, don't, like, let it go. Let it go or you'll both get kicked out. Like, be cool. Go to the other side of the room if he comes back in here. And the guy was like, okay, cool. And then I went back on stage, and I restarted the song, and we just kept going. And afterwards, Traker was like, that's the fucking coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, oh,
actually,
thanks, man.
Do you remember... We played a show. I know you were there. We were playing a show at El Corazon, and was it Get Dead or Dead? I think it was Dead Bars, and some drunk dude. It was at El Corazon. He like threw the full beer at the singer, and the singer ended up jumping off stage, grabbed the dude, and like they were like fist fighting all the way to the door.
Oh, I don't remember that, but
Wow.
You were
I
there
saw few
because
fights at that show.
yeah,
I
remember you were there because you grabbed him and you grabbed the singer and like you took him back to the stage.
Oh,
I remember that.
Oh man, I don't know what band was that though. You know, it's because I was just thinking I got in a fight at a Cobra Skull show once, but that wasn't the same show. But it was also at a Corazon. Some guy smashed into my wife and my ex-wife and knocked her over and like spilled the drink all over her. And then I was just like, hey, like watch where you're fucking going. And he swung on me, so I just punched him a bunch. And then someone came up and grabbed me, and I was like, oh fuck, he's got a big friend, he's gonna kick my ass. But it was just Carl, the big door guy. And Carl was like, I got you, buddy. He just like moved me out of the way.
Rev got in a fight? Rev in a fight.
Oh, I've been in a couple. You know, some people are some people go over their bounds. It's hard. It's really hard to push my buttons. But
I have a fight story that I'm thinking about because I got my lip busted open a couple years ago by somebody in particular, and like every now and again I start to bite the scar, and sure shit, my lip is swollen as shit because I bit the scar. And here, let me see if it'll pull up. No, it probably won't. But if you can see that, no, probably not. Anyways, so there's a certain person. And I called him out like randomly on Facebook a couple years ago, and he messaged me. He's like, dude, can you not? Because I'm a better person now, and I'd like to forget about this thing. There's a certain person who used to play in a particular band from Enumclaw, who is in a particular band from Seattle, who works at a particular bar in Seattle. Me and him got in a fight. Oh, fuck it. It's Drew. It's Drew Smith.
I was going to say.
Me and him got in a fight. Me and him got in a fight years ago, and he busted my fucking lip open, and that was the best shot that anybody has ever gotten on me.
Drew is from Buckley.
Oh, sorry, Buckley.
I was like, which member of Success punched you?
No, but it's just because it's swollen still. But I tried to call him out for just being a dickhead because Drew sucked as a person. He's a lot better now. He's great now.
He and I had our issues in the past. Obviously, I mean, we were also young, and also piss and vinegar. I love that guy though with all my heart. He's such an incredible dude, and he's such a fucking solid guy. Like, and he's he's turned into an amazing songwriter too.
Oh yeah, our relationship has definitely been up and down. And as much as I never cared for him as a person after a bunch of shit went down. The fact that he's doing what he's doing, I will always respect that. Just like I don't like Mike Herrera for certain reasons, but I will respect what he's doing. Same reason why I don't like fucking, X amount of people but they're doing what they're doing as better people. So, but fight story. Biggest fight I ever gotten in.
I've known Drew since he was like 14 years old, maybe. That's when
and you got to think, I'm fucking 6'1", 200 some odd pounds, and Drew Smith is fucking. He's a little guy.
You know what though? I've seen him on the door at Kraken. I've seen him take out dudes twice your size, and
he's sober now.
In an advantageous way. Yeah, he is. Yeah, but just
and he did this to me when I was sober and he was drunk. He was drunk and I was sober, and it was a whole fucking. It's so fucking weird, but I will do. Yeah. I just want to talk about fight stories.
I have a list of guys I would love to play music with one day. Both of you guys are on that list. I think I've talked to I've at least talked to Stump about, in the past about wanting to do something with him, and whenever, hopefully if time would allow at some point. But Drew's one of those guys too.
I'm all for it, especially if you want to still do the surf band we talked about doing.
I mean, that's a hidden talent of mine is surf guitar, man. Don't tell too many people about that, but I fucking love it. Yeah, I mean, man, I'm just glad people create. So, with the world being as fucked up as it is, I'm glad.
I downloaded a recording fucking thing on my computer that I'm gonna just record a bunch of shit and send to Stumpy if he can fucking add drums to it. I mean,
dude, we wrote all of the last drums recordings during the pandemic on GarageBand, everyone, none of us knew how to do it. We all just learned GarageBand together and then just emailed all the tracks. So I actually wrote the songs.
It's kind of like Postal Service.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wrote the songs by poorly programming drums and then sending them to Jake and being like, will you change this? Because it's horrible. And then Jake actually recording. You know, Jake's like one of the greatest drummers ever. And so, like,
does Jake live in Seattle now?
He does. Yeah. Yeah, he lives in Seattle.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, he moved up here. It fucking rules.
Yeah, that's kind of what the Let Me Downs did, where so before everything started, you know, everything closed up, we kind of had a majority of the songs that we did, and a lot of it was literally just Paul, the bass player, and one of the singers bringing in songs, and then Pat, the other guy, Pat Hall, he brought in a bunch of his songs, and I'm just like the odd man out, where I'm just like, all right, well, now I got to play two different styles of like music, where I'm like, all right, well, I got to do like a no effectsy kind of Descendants kind of stuff, and then I got to do Green Day sort of, you know, copyrights sort of, all right, and I got to learn, you know, like face to face and no use, and so I'm like, I'm in this weird mix, and I'm just kind of this dude where it's just like, all right, I'm just gonna play what's catchy,
eighth
like,
notes.
Yeah, just
eight notes.
And it's just, and the album worked, but then, like, you know, Paul ended up getting a divorce, and he had to go back to Arizona, and then we ended up, me and Pat just were like, well, we're not going to let this thing die. We can't, you know, and we were just like, look, we have to do something. We have to keep this going. And I'll say this much, because of the record and what we've achieved as just this 3-piece, this is the best band I've been in. Like,
that's awesome.
Bar none, the best band. Like, we literally have gotten played in different countries. Like, that's
the fact that you feel that way is so much more important than what anyone else says about your music. It's like that feeling there is the feeling that you had when you were a kid and you started fucking playing in your first band. And if you can ever reignite that with a group of people, you got to stick to it. Because it's really hard to find that.
it's weird. I never get nervous playing shows anymore, but I get like
I used to throw up before shows because I got so nervous.
I remember that.
Joe
used to puke.
It's just for no reason. I would just puke.
My thing is like, I get sort of I get anxious right before, like, I set up, you know, do all the thing, and then, like, because I have to sit there and wait for them to tune and do all this, so I'm just sitting on stage, and I'm just kind of like,
wait, you wait for them to tune as a drummer?
Like,
you
I'm just saying, like, oh yeah, I'm one of the good ones.
you guys tuning?
Yeah. I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm just like, whatever. And but like, I always forget what the first song is, even though, like, and it's this weird thing until, like, whoever, like, most of it's gonna be either one of them will start the first song. I don't do a click in. I don't do it. I let them start it, and it then goes off from there. I know it's weird. It's like the first song, we're just like, announce who we are. We go straight into it, you know, and it's basically like just a train coming through. So
nice.
It was weird how we did it. You know, we all kind of, you know, Paul being down there, he did all his bass and his singing parts down in Arizona, and Pat and I did them here. And it was a first for all three of us. So, like, I understand that now we're actually looking to kind of do that same sort of thing where, okay, I have an electric kit at home. I also have a studio now, a practice space, and I have a little thing that I can do and actually play drums off there. I just have to get a more professional DAW so I can actually do, like, recordings like this, you know, to where
Pro Tools intimidates me, though. Like,
I've
just never worked with it.
Yeah,
that's why we went with GarageBand. But also, it's like, at this point, I will gladly pay someone to fucking do Pro Tools, to press play for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's too much. I feel like if you didn't start with Pro Tools in earlier versions, now there's so much going on that it's like, I just want to show up and plug in and fucking play. You know?
And most of them actually. And the funny thing is like, we're so. I think it's because we're so like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like we know our instrument, but that's a new instrument to learn. And once you learn that instrument, it opens your, that's the way I've been looking at it. Like,
yeah, that's smart.
And so it can be stressful, but once that end result is there, like us doing this is only going to be for demo work. It's not going to be for, but like we've been writing some really good stuff lately, and to where like we've already have like a few songs for the next album.
Cool.
Like,
that's awesome.
And I've learned, I keep telling them, like, keep writing songs, keep sending these songs, like, so when you guys record and everything, how many songs do you guys do per batch? Like, I've heard friends do, they'll write between like 45 to 50 songs and then pick the best 10 or the best 12. Do you guys do that?
So Andy and I, until recently, we would write independently, and probably I know that for my process, I probably write 20 to 30 songs, and then I'll pull 6 to 10 out of that I actually want to hang out with, like I throw away more than anyone will ever know, it's like I throw away a lot, but it's just to kind of exercise that muscle. Like to me, it's like songwriting is a muscle, and you have to be able to recognize like this one's not that good, and so we'll do that. On this last recording, we wrote a lot more together than we ever have, and I think we're going to keep doing that because it was just super fun and the songs turned out great. But I overwrite and then I trim it down every time. And then the band usually takes between 10 to 15 to 16 of the best tracks that we have, and then we record those.
Yeah.
We do a lot of
Let me just say, I also like want to point out, like, compared to like, Success and all, and compared to Success and Drowns, the fact that it's like, it's you and Andy, like it switches off so fucking often that it's weird. Like I always thought of you as always the front man, always the guy. But it's like it seems like it's so fucking even between you guys for the most part.
I love it.
It's great. It's just like when Dave had his couple songs, and it that was cool and all. But it's the new song you guys just released.
Guidelines of Control is the new one of ours.
That's Andy, right? Like
yeah, for sure.
I was gonna say, because I know your voice has changed so much over the years. Like I can think of like when you first started Success, and then like Life on the Rocks, like you were very high pitched, and then back down. And so I was about to say, if you change your fucking voice for this next fucking record, I'm gonna lose my shit because I can't keep up with you. You already said you didn't like being a fucking singer. You got forced to because there was enough fucking drummers and fucking in the town you're at. So you gotta learn how to play guitar and sing.
I still don't like singing, and it's fine. Like I respect. I like my voice now, and like I can do a lot with it, but I still don't enjoy it. I still have dreams of being just a guitar player in a band.
Yeah.
Oh no, my headphones just died.
Oh shit!
Son of a bitch. Oh wait, I got one.
It's okay.
You got just one.
Yeah.
It's all right. I love your fucking raspy when you're raspy and shit. I fucking love that compared to, what you have done in the past. It's just so fucking weird how like your vocal range has just changed so fucking much over the last.
It's so weird too because I think it also depends on the material. I think depending on what's going on, and I'm a pretty sensitive studio guy, so it's like the environment of the studio has a lot to do with how I record. As weird as that sounds, but like the element.
You're straight up prima donna.
I am a fucking prima donna. You're right. When it comes to recording, I will say the Drowns are so good about catering to how emotional I am because I like pour myself into it, and it's the most. I take it more serious than I've ever taken anything in my entire life, and not to a fault. It's just it's insanely important to me. Every single song I write.
This is your fucking job. You're not you're not building fences anymore. You're fucking playing rock and roll.
Yeah, and somebody said to me, I think it was Andy. I don't want to misquote him, but I'm pretty sure it was Andy who said that like this is our livelihood, or this is our legacy. Like we're building a legacy with these songs. And that mentality blew my fucking mind. I was like, wow, you're right. Like if I go tomorrow, people will still have that to know who I was. And so it's really important, And so in the studio, I am a fucking bitch. I'm a total like prima donna, and they cater to me, and they're real sweet about it. I have emotional breakdowns, and I'm like, I shouldn't do this. My voice sounds like shit, and they're like, you're gonna be fine. Like, the guitar.
That's why I'm not a singer.
It comes way easier to me in the studio. I would
See,
love to just sit down and just slay a little bit. I'm totally okay with that.
like,
Doesn't make me nervous.
like with me with the studio, I go in, and luckily enough, especially with this band, when we start writing now, I play everything to a click track. So I'm literally practicing with the click in my head. So when we go to play, when we go to record, I'm not sitting there going, what am I doing? Like, what's
no,
the
I get
BPM?
that. Jake is very regimented too, to where we'll have all the BPM already assigned on when we
Yeah.
go in the studio, and we've already practiced it at that tempo. And we've worked with producers, and I fucking love working with producers, but it is like, we show up with as much prepared as we can, because Jake also doesn't like to improv too much. So.
See, I do. I like to improv live because, especially with playing the songs after so much, you kind of I don't want to say it gets stale for me, but like, I also don't want to go to a concert and literally hear exactly the same shit that's on the record, because at that point, I might as well just stare at their poster and listen to their album. Because that's basically the same thing.
I think it depends. For me, it depends on the music. When it comes to that. I understand where you're coming from for sure, though. And it is cool to see some variety. But I like when a band can sound incredible, but then also like add stuff to their show. Like I like Success used to take one of our songs and we would put a break of another song in the middle of it. And like we would do that live because it kind of spices things up a little bit. We would put in like Kansas or like Tom Petty or something like that you would know in the middle,
I remember you guys doing that with, I think it was Kansas. You guys did that. The first time I saw you guys do that was actually at the Nothington show. I think you guys played Wayward Son, I believe. And I was just like, what the fuck? I was like, whoa! And like, nobody got it. I was like so excited. And like, everybody's just like.
There were definitely times where people were like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is this random thing you're playing in the middle of your song?
So, have you ever done a live fade out though? Like, if like you had a fade out in your fucking album, have you ever done a live fade out?
Yes.
Never. No. I
have. Bad Jeans did it in fucking Spokane one time because our first shit. Oh god, our first shit album. We had a fade out at one of the end of the song. And so we got the idea from Adam and His Package to do it live when Adam and His Package did a fucking live CD. And so there was a whole like, so we're playing with these fucking kids that are just talking shit. We were playing with CLR at the time. And these kids are just talking shit because Joe's drunk. Anyways. And so we do a live fade out and these guys go, what the they lost their fucking mind. They talked the most shit I have ever heard anybody ever talk for doing a live fade out.
The singer
I
of
thought it was the greatest thing ever.
was like super against fade outs on records. Like, I wanted to do one. I kind of like when like a solo trails off or something. And
same.
I'm not always obviously, but I think at certain points in the record it can be kind of cool leading into something else. But he was super against it. Kai was like, I remember him freaking out once, being like, "Why would we do that? Why would we do that? Was it just supposed to make them think the song fucking goes on forever? There's obviously a fucking end. Why not show them the end?" I was like, "Whoa." Like, sorry, dude. We don't have to. We'll just end it.
Hold on. I have to share a pistol memory real quick. You guys played Club Impact, the one by the train, by the bus station. You guys had a whole stage setup, and I think you had a mannequin with a shirt that said "Rifle for a Money Order." And I think actually not.
Was it a mannequin or was it a cardboard cutout of Christy Yamaguchi, the professional figure skater?
I don't know.
We also had
God, hell, that was like fucking. That was almost fucking 20 years ago. Like, yeah, that was a long time ago.
Well, you figure I joined the band right after I graduated high school, and this year is 20 years that I've been out of high school. So
yeah, I just remember going to that fucking show, and I go to that show and it's like Rifle for a Money Order. That is fucking genius. And I will never fucking forget that.
Oh shit,
that's awesome.
But I know we're getting long on this, but there's so many things I need to know real quick.
Yeah.
Best local venue you have ever played, old or new, in your whole entire career, and then your worst.
Local to Seattle.
And no, in your whole entire like Tacoma, Seattle, like our local area, like Tacoma, Seattle, Well,
Olympia,
when we were younger.
like-
Yeah, like just your whole entire fucking 25 fucking years you've been doing this. What is the best and what is the worst?
Oh man,
locally.
Yeah, I don't know about the worst. I don't know if there was too many really bad places that we played, but the Green Stripe House was amazing. We used to do house shows. That was fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, I went to that house once, and I think I saw Reviver or whatever. Like, I think it was that was at. I think that was at FBK. I don't remember.
I love the Victory, but because I'm claustrophobic, I really don't like seeing bands there or playing there. It's just like too small, and the band has to play right next to the door, and it's just kind of a pain in the ass. So I mean, but I love the Victory. I love the bar. Man, I don't know.
I feel that way about the Kraken, by the way.
I mean, well, the thing is, I love the Kraken. I feel like that goes unsaid. That place will always be near and dear to my heart.
Oh yeah, same.
I do like. I actually played the new Sunset when they remodeled, and that was pretty fucking cool. I love the old Crocodile. I haven't been to the new one yet.
I've heard it's cool.
You know what? It never got to happen because the venue was closed. But when I was a kid, I always wanted to play the Annex in Auburn because I used to go to shows at the Annex, and that was a venue that I think I saw my first like hardcore show there when I was a kid, and yeah, that place was really fucking cool. I mean, I love Tacoma too. The Red Room was a lot of fun back when it was going on.
The Red Room was fun, except for getting hit in the face because it was on the floor.
We played with Bully there, I think. Were you at was that the same show you played there?
I think it was the hardcore show, and we were literally the only punk bands. And you walked up to me like, you walked up to me like, I saw a familiar name. Yeah. And I was like, oh. And I have. It's a funny story about that. Kyle Goins. Kyle Goins was super high, and he came to that fucking show. And then later that night, he came to our house at Nemesis House, woke me up at 3 o'clock in the morning, walked in my room, screamed, and just fucking left. That's a whole fucking same night. Like, I will never forget that whole fucking night.
The Red Room was cool. There was a venue that now it's like a weed shop on 6th Avenue, but it used to be the Offbeat. You guys remember that at all? It was also a dueling piano bar for a little while.
Oh, are you talking about fucking Chopsticks? It was Chopsticks.
Yeah.
Oh, I know Chopsticks,
yeah. Before that place was fucking cool.
Did you ever do Club Adrian? I
did, yeah. We played there a bunch. Pistol did. It was all right. We had some good shows there.
I got banned from there. Well,
the guy who ran it, he was he was fucking a kid, like.
So I went to high school with him. He played in the Capcom back in the day. He did a bunch of shit at Old Club Impact. I mean, the guy was super cool. But when he left, they still kept that fucking name.
He was a kid. He was a fucking kid when he was doing that's crazy. But that place is pretty cool. I mean, the old Funhouse was cool. Used to have like the half pipe in the backyard and the clown on top and stuff. That was really cool.
I did the old Funhouse for a benefit show for some guy who died. I can't remember his fucking name, but no, that was fun.
I think the High Line is. I'm gonna miss it forever because I really enjoyed that venue and I worked there for a while. So that's gonna be a tough one for me.
That one, I never got to play there, but I got to do a couple of mustache and beard competitions there. And I will miss their BLTs.
Yeah, great food. Well, one of the owners, Alan, he reopened Georgetown Liquor Company.
So he's one of the new. Okay.
Yeah.
So I keep trying to get my brother to go back, but the last time we went, he was not very the lady that was there. I don't know if she's still there or not. She was She was super rude to my brother.
She's not yet. So she sold the business, and now Alan owns it. And he completely redid it. And he redid the menu. It's awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. See, I never had a problem going there. Like, I've never had an issue. Like, I always, but like, she was just super rude to my brother for some reason. I don't know if like she just didn't like him or what. I don't know, but like, I was just like, she was every time I went there, and it's because you were the reason I even knew about that place.
Great restaurant, yeah.
Oh yeah, and but every time because my brother now lives in Alki, so every time I go to Alki, I'm like, hey, we should, before we go to back to your apartment, let's go there because I want to get a sandwich or something.
Yeah,
And he's like, no. Yeah, I love it. So.
Joe,
Right.
what else did you have?
Yeah.
Lightning round.
Okay, I have a couple more. Because we gotta cut this soon because the free program we have on here only gives us so many hours a month. So I got a couple more questions.
It's the too much information question.
What is your deepest, darkest secret?
Man, that I live in perpetual fear that I'm gonna be seen as a failure when I die.
Oh, fuck
Yeah.
you.
I think we all do.
But that wasn't the too much information question. Okay, so how do you wipe your ass? From back to front or front to back? That's the too much information. How do you wipe? From front to back or back to front?
I'm from the gooch up. So front to back.
Okay, do you stand or sit?
Or squat.
Shit?
No, like when you wipe, do you like stand up and do a full
Oh,
thing?
I do.
Or do you like
I lean.
Okay.
It makes sense because
That
I'm
was the
Humpty
too much-
Dumpty shaped, so I just kind of like,
All right. Okay. We did this with the most meaningful song you've ever written. I'm just gonna say it has to be Hold Fast. You can argue with it. I don't care.
I got that
my
tattooed
mom
on me.
would say, oh, that's so sick. My mom would say Resignation, the last track on Radio Recovery. That's what my mom would say.
I love
She
that
would say
song.
that's the best. She told me that's the best song I ever wrote. I do love that song. It didn't get enough attention off that record.
That's a really good one. Okay, no, I have to think about something real quick. Why did you guys re-record so many fucking different songs? Like Revolution was better on Radio Recovery, but Bar Peanuts was terrible on Life on the Rock. Okay,
Yeah.
What the fuck? It was so much faster.
So Dodie Bar Peanuts was filler for that record.
Okay.
And then we re-recorded stuff on Radio Recovery. That was the choice of the label. So.
Oh yeah,
Any of those songs
I
that were
think
done
Revolution
again was the choice of the
so
label.
much fucking better. The one that it bugs me the fucking most is Nowhere Kids because it doesn't have the fucking Goonies when you guys recorded it.
Well, they were afraid of copyright stuff, and then we got shit on a lot for that. We got shit on
you have
a
to
lot.
pay. You can use, from what I know, you can use 7 seconds without paying for it, but after you go 7 seconds, you like that. That bugged me for some reason. I don't know.
Still love the Goonies. I still do, unapologetically.
Oh yeah. We did this. Are you Team Jacob or Team Edward? That's not important.
Check it out.
All right.
Team Edward, only because I'm excited for the new Batman movie.
Dude, okay.
I think it's gonna be good. I'm excited for it.
I think it's gonna be really fucking good. I feel like the whole costume looks, or like everything looks weird because I feel like the head is off. It reminds me of fucking like football when you go like Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, like they're brothers, but like Eli has a weird fucking head.
It looks
fucking good,
and I can't fucking wait.
Well,
it looks
like
good.
the Ben Affleck helmet thing looked, yeah.
Oh,
him and that Superman, you can throw both those away for me. I wasn't a fan of those.
Okay.
What about Nipple Batman?
I was gonna say, who is your favorite Batman?
Michael Keaton can literally, you can't argue. You can't argue. Michael Keaton was the fucking best, dude.
He is Batman.
I think Val Kilmer made a pretty
trumps
good
Adam
Bruce
West.
Wayne, not a good Batman. What?
He's better than Adam West then.
I mean, I do love Adam West, but I'm a kid of the 90s, so I fucking love Michael Keaton.
It's definitely Keaton. Definitely Keaton.
Can't okay. I know all three of us grew up with Adam West as Batman, but I mean, Michael Keaton is he's the nuance. He's the chef's kiss, whatever you want to call it. He's the Batman.
But who is the best Joker now? Because there's so many arguments about Joker these days.
I mean, that's a tough
because Joaquin did amazing as just that.
I'm
story.
Excited for the second one too. Yeah.
I get that and everything, but I would love to see somebody who you would not expect to play as a Joker.
Carrot Top.
I would absolutely love Like,
Animated Batman. Come on.
like seriously though, like someone like that, or even like if
Mark
if
Hamill.
Robin Williams was
Mark
still
Hamill.
alive, like Robin Williams, if he was alive, I think he would play an insane Joker.
Yeah.
No.
You know, I think he would do good. Have you seen 1 Hour Photo? It was really dark and creepy in that.
What was the other one he did? I can't remember the name of it, but it was another one like that. It was like Timeline or Time, something like that, where he would watch people's lives and he was an editor.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm gonna say I wasn't that big of a Robin Williams guy. I'm just gonna say it.
That's fine.
I mean, like I don't know.
You can't, but I mean, Jumanji?
Dr. Patches, or when he was the doctor, that was good. Mr. Doubtfire, obviously. Patch Adams, thank you.
Fucking Jumanji, bro. That movie fucking kicks ass.
Okay.
Mork and Mindy, come on.
Yeah, come on, dude. Nanu. No, I know where you're. I mean, that's fine. I know where you're coming from. There's a lot of people who love certain actors but Rob Moore, I don't know. It warms my heart. Oh no, my headphones are gone.
Whoa! Everything just got louder.
My headphones, they finally died out. Sorry. It got louder, really?
Yeah, a little bit.
Everything just got super loud for a second.
Oh, sorry, guys.
But, no, it's all good.
It's fine. Okay, so fuck. How do you feel about dinosaurs? Real or fake?
What, are you kidding? Dinosaurs are real as fuck.
All right.
Unless you ask that one Christian lady who like smashes up all the plaster. Have you seen that crazy woman?
Yes.
I have a whole theory, and I also have a theory about Disneyland and all that good shit.
Oh no, you're frozen.
Oh shit. Oh, you're frozen.
There you go.
Okay. Wait, what the fuck? Oh shit. Everything went bad. I have I have one more question. I have one more question, and I have to know it.
Oh. I got the audio.
It's good.
I think we lost Rev.
No,
oh,
did we?
Oh,
Hold on, give it a second.
I swear, if it's this, I need to ask one more fucking important question.
It'll unfreeze in just a second. See?
Hey.
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
We can hear you.
I can hear you, but I can't see Joe.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, don't. Who fucking cares about me?
Oh, there we go.
What is the biggest conspiracy? What is the biggest conspiracy theory that you fucking believe? Like the biggest conspiracy theory. What is it?
I don't think we landed on the moon when we did. I do think that we did land on the moon, but I don't think that we did when we said we did. I think it was to get Russia off our backs.
Okay. I will agree with this.
I will agree with it.
Only because of two things. One, still does not make sense to me. If they landed the lunar lander, who put the camera yards away to face the the lander without them being the first steps on the moon? And I'm putting this in mini quotes.
So I mean, I know it's like whatever we're talking about. I have a T-shirt right now, but also in my dirty pile is this shirt my wife got for me as a joke. Look at this. This is the Kubrick moon landing film crew.
So, and that's a whole conspiracy too, because they say that he put it in like in his movies and stuff. But like, to me, it doesn't make sense that we did that in the 60s, and yet we haven't been back since.
Well, I don't have the educational background to argue that by any means with anyone. It just seemed like really apt timing when we had previously leading up to that had a lot of failed missions, really poorly. So it's like, that seemed like really quick to be like, never mind, we got it.
Yeah, I have one that it got proven, and I sent it to Joe, which like it ruined his whole day. So my theory is that the sun grows, and when it grows, it eats a planet. So each of our planets is actually what we were before. So what Venus used to be Mars, and what Mars used to be Earth, and what Earth, and just you go down the line. So it's each of them have their own timeline turning into the planet before.
Interesting.
So, but then the sun grows, and the more that it implodes, it swallows the next planet, which then will turn that planet that was there before into the planet that's ahead of us.
Weird.
Does that make sense?
I mean, yeah. It's just kind of crazy.
It absolutely fucks me up just thinking about it.
Send me the info.
Okay, I'll see.
My whole thing has always been dinosaurs. Like, it's dinosaurs never existed, because it started out as a joke, but it started growing from there, and it's literally turned into like an online persona. And now it's been getting bigger. Now it's paleontology is a cult, and they're hiding information. That's why they're so boring.
Well, you've seen that lady I was referencing, right? The lady with the fucking plaster, and she like breaks it. She's like, if this is your job, you'll find a dinosaur bone.
But see, I've argued with people, like, they've asked me how. I look at the city of Petra in Jordan, how they carved fucking like houses into mountains. Who's to say that they didn't carve bones out of rock and bury? And it's like it turned into like a whole entire like lifelong.
But
fucking,
the only thing that you have that is scientifically proven that can actually prove that is every T-Rex that is in a museum is technically not an actual T-Rex. They are pieces of other dinosaurs put together to be a T-Rex. That is the only thing that you will have that has that as a proven.
Listen, I never did fucking research on it. I never did research. I just thought of it one day, and I thought it was going to be genius, and I pissed off a lot of people.
So
there's reasons why
here's a conspiracy theory. Big Dairy in the 90s, they knew you had milk the whole time when they were asking if you had milk. And they said, got milk. They knew the whole time that you didn't have it. And so I'm just being an asshole. I don't know.
Wow.
It makes sense.
Both of those are compelling ideas, but I don't know. I feel like this is beyond my wealth of knowledge.
Wow.
I mean, the moon landing one does make sense with the whole scripting and stuff. It does make sense because think about
it's
it.
Just like
Well, no, because right now we could already have had a group of astronauts go to Mars right now that are already there that we don't even know that are there, right? So by the time that it actually goes through and shows everything that has happened, it's going to be years from now. Because by the time they come back, it's going to be years.
That is a crazy thought at how long it would take to get there.
Yeah. So because like that's where like I'm thinking about it. Like it's like, okay, it's probably already happened. We don't even know about it.
That movie, The Martian, was good as fuck. You see that movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. I have one more quick thing before we do the other thing. I want to play a word association with you. Just a quick word association with you.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these are going to be a little tricky.
Okay.
Trilogy.
Star Wars.
Horse.
Enumclaw.
Okay, thank you. Chaos.
Total.
Fence.
Work.
Wind.
Talker. That movie was badass. I don't know if you saw that movie.
Clash.
Oh, Jones.
Family.
Yes.
Soup.
Oh man, dude.
Okay, so you answered a bunch of those. Exactly how I thought you would answer. Trilogy, horse, fence, and clash. But family, what's the plans for the future? Is that going to happen?
Oh, you mean like kids?
Yeah, no, that was a segue.
Oh, no, yeah. We took steps to make sure that never happened. We got puppies instead.
Which,
oh
by
my
the
God,
way,
your new puppy! Your fucking
new one.
puppy! Jesus. Oh.
Yeah, I'll go get him if you want me to go get him. He's fucking crazy, bro.
No, I mean
he's huge.
He's adorable. I mean, I already loved your pug. I already loved Nigel. Nigel was amazing.
His birthday is next week. Nigel turns 15.
15?
Yeah. I mean,
Dang.
I got a pug Yorkie mix like a year and a half ago, and I was so happy. But she will never compare to how cute Nigel is.
Yeah, dude. So our new dog Hamish is huge. He just keeps growing and keeps growing. He's only like 4 months old and he's a monster already. He's like a fucking horse.
What kind of dog is he?
Labradoodle.
He's a Labradoodle?
Yeah.
My brother got a double doodle Labradoodle like thing. Her name is Milo. I'm actually trying to get her I found a vest to
awesome.
make her a punk rock vest.
That rules.
And so I'm gonna do a bunch of and I'm trying to find patches that have it to where they're all dog themed, but it's like all band related.
That's
so
awesome.
like 3 Dog Night is gonna be like the big back patch.
Yeah.
And like there was a band called like Bone Killer and like stuff like that I'm just gonna find like all like the stupid like
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Slaughtering the dogs, man. You should
yeah. And then like
awesome.
yeah, I'm gonna get her a what was the Scruff the Crime Dog patch and
Fuck
like
Yep.
I gotta do all that.
Man. My 6-month-old puppy, he's a pit bull boxer / Chihuahua Jack Russell mix. He's fucking. The mom was a pit bull boxer. The dad was a Jack Russell Chihuahua. This motherfucker's huge, but his brother that our friend owns is like this tiny little shit. He's about to get his balls chopped off on Valentine's Day, and I'm so fucking excited. Not. All right, so we're hitting that 2.5 hour mark. We're gonna cut it off, but beforehand, I gotta do the thing, and it has to do with this fancy device here called the Pump Action Shotgun Tool. The Pump Action Shotgun Tool by Drunk Engineer. Okay, I don't really have to do the fucking thing. But
Yeah,
Rev,
no,
you say you need one for.
Hey, I want the thing.
Do you need it for regular cans or skinny cans?
I need it for regular cans.
Bro, I got you. Just send me your address and I got you.
I will.
But I have to do the thing since it's just beers and bullshit. You don't
give me 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds.
I don't know how I'm
Look
gonna
at
do
that
this, but
you got to push it against a table, don't you?
no, I'm gonna push it
Hey,
against my chest and I'm gonna push
Did you
it
watch
forward.
the video? Did you watch the video?
I'm learning how you guys did it, so
That's what I did. I never watched the video. Is that an O'Doul's?
O'Doul rules.
What is? Oh, hold on. I gotta know. What is the worst non-alcoholic beer you've ever had?
Oh, I hate Caliber, the one that Guinness makes. But also Guinness now made an actual Guinness 0.0, and it's supposed to be really good.
We have the Heineken at the bar I work at, and it's fucking awful.
Yeah,
I don't like great. Heineken.
St. Pauli Girls is pretty good, but there's a company called Athletic now that makes like microbrews, and they're fucking incredible. It's like next level. But so
I
when
love
you guys,
that you're sober, but you still have beer. Like it's
Oh,
like you have your NA beer.
Oh,
You
I
still
love
like the
beer.
taste.
Absolutely, and it's just fun to kind of have something around. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, I still want this, you know.
Which I gotta say, congratulations on being sober as long as you have. I know
Thank
you're
you.
fucking what, like 800 fucking days now, or
Oh man, I'm 2.5 years now, so thank you, appreciate it. Yeah,
I think
Just over
yeah,
2.5 years.
actually
Yeah.
that time that me and you had your breakfast and my lunch, I think that was when you stopped drinking. I think that was like you were like, hey, after this, I'm pretty much done.
yeah, I had to be.
Yeah.
I just partied too much.
I will always give appreciation for people that can do it. And I mean, I drink. I don't care who's sober. It's the same thing with like religion, politics. You do your thing, I do my thing. I'm not gonna fucking judge you on
Unless you think dinosaurs are real, right?
it. Okay, listen, motherfucker.
All right.
Let's see if I can get this.
All right, let's see if somebody can get this shit. And yeah, Rev, send me your fucking address. I got one
I
coming
will.
to you.
I'm gonna try to chug this.
Oh, good luck.
There it is. That's a fucking mistake.
Yeah, these things are a little tricky for a guy who only has so many.
You know what? It blows me away still though how incredibly like you're such a great drummer for that.
Motherfucker,
being
he
involved.
he showed me the fucking stick twirl one time. I lost my shit.
It's so awesome.
There we go.
I will
Okay.
say I did first see Stumpy when he worked at a grocery store, and I looked at him. I go, fuck. And that was like the first time I ever saw Stumpy, and before I even knew him.
Mm.
And I just looked at this guy fucking stocking the freezer section. I go, shit.
That's what I
It's one of
do.
those things. I was a dumb kid.
We've all been there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's see if I can do this.
All right,
All right.
Cheers, guys. Thank you for a fun conversation.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, it won't let me do it.
Oh shit! Did I show the thing? I didn't show the thing. Pump action shotgun tool by Drunk Engineers.
Oh,
Get yours today at drunkengineers.ca. Use the promo code JM86. You get 10% off. They have this thing coming out. It's called the hammer. You put 5 beers in the bitch. You push this thing down, and 5 beers get fucking opened. And it's
oh my God.
I can't wait to get it.
That sounds terrible.
These guys are literally like 22-year-old college graduates that make no money, but they give me so much shit. I love them so much.
That's awesome.
All right, that was episode 4. It
Nice.
was 2.5 hours, an hour and a half longer than I thought it would go. I didn't answer or ask all my questions, but it is what it is. I had fun. I hope you guys had fun.
Great time.
I just spilled a beer
Fucking
all over me, but
Oh,
whatever.
shit.
That was good times. All right, I'm going to hit it with the outro and then end this bitch.
See you guys.
Hold on. I didn't get to do the thing. Aaron, when's that album coming out and where can people find you?
Right now, we just released a brand new 7-inch, but there might be an announcement coming out real soon about a new Drowns release. That it might be coming out real soon. So keep an eye out. But we just dropped a 7-inch, but we got some other stuff on the way. So.
Those songs are fucking primo. I just gotta say. All right, hit it with the outro. Did you have something else you need to say?
No.
Oh fuck.